Let's try that again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening, I want to welcome you to the latest episode of the Gaming Circle Podcast. The podcast where this week we are super excited because we are finally, after what seems like 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, we are now at the beginning of the end. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Let me first introduce my man, the guy who's out here upstaging me with the camera work, in the line of fire, on crossfire. The man who's over here making sure they charge himself more, and we'll get into that as well. Mr. EverbornSaga, how you doing this morning, sir?
You know, before we get started, I just like to say with the intro music, I can't rap, but I felt like I just wanted to.
You gotta drop something,
it's
right?
Good.
I feel like
it's good.
Shout out to the man Wandering Dutch.
I think I'm gonna hire a ghostwriter. I'm gonna hire a ghostwriter, and we're gonna.
What we need to do is translate it. We need to translate this into Chat GPT and say write a rhyme for us on this beat.
Chat GPT.
Yes, that's right.
Trying to take everybody's jobs.
But you know what? Before we get into it, let me introduce our honored guest. It's been a while. I've been wanting this man on this show, and I said this before, right? Like, you know, this is the year where we introduce, we have our heroes on, the people we watch all the time. The people we're you know, we go one day when we get good enough, we'll invite them and they'll come. And in this instance, this is one of those instances where I'm very, very happy to have this man on here. You know, we on this show, we preach agnostic. We are gamers. We play wherever the games may be, right? But that doesn't necessarily have to be what you are.
Unless they're on PC. Oh, all right. I didn't know. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
You know, unless you game somewhere else, you know, maybe you're a PC heathen sometimes, like myself, right? Or a console troglodyte. It is what it is. We are here for you, baby, and we are here to support you and represent you. And in this instance, we are here to represent those who bleed green.
Yeah.
From the show, the podcast, Mr. Dirt Griggity, which you can find Monday evenings, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Dirt, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, man, I bleed green over here. I do like the PlayStation. I do. I have a PS5, but you know, the fanboys I'm not fans of. But you know, that's for another show. But yeah, man, thanks for inviting me, guys. I appreciate it.
This is great. We want to have you on for a while. You know, real great member of the community out here, not letting anybody sleep on any false narratives. We appreciate. Great follow on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Great follow on Twitter. If you're not following this man, you need to. All his information will be in the show notes. But okay, before we get started in full, let me first do a little bit of the housekeeping notes. Once again, thank everybody for being here. I already see the chat is live. We already have a bunch of folks in here. We appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you so much. We are growing in leaps and bounds, both in video and audio, so thank you. Yes, Mr. EverbornSaga has gotten a new cam, so now he's being absolutely ridiculous over there, trying out his little fashion show stuff, but don't pay him no mind. We just gonna keep moving.
Don't worry about me. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's happening.
Damn. All right. So yes, thank you guys so much. Even before we got here, we had folks already in the chat. We have Mr. Joanna Dark with the first super chat of the day. Thank you, sir. He leaves a $5 super chat and says, first super chat of the day, salute to Gerald Mack. I know that they've been going back and forth for weeks now trying to say who gets first. He says, hello, gentlemen. Ready to enjoy a good show today. What could Playground learn from Hogwarts? Ooh, that's an interesting question. And we will get there, and we'll get there while talking about some games that we have been playing. So I guess we might as well jump into that right full force. I know, you know, most likely this will be a one-sided conversation for me, but I will start first with our guest. What games have you been playing this week, sir? What has been keeping you busy?
Actually, Dead Space remake. I just finished it yesterday.
Nice.
Dope remake.
That's next
man.
on my list.
Yeah, dope remake. And actually, what's so funny? After playing it, I was like, wow, man, it makes me want to go back and play part two because I booted up part two on Xbox backwards compatibility. Of course, it was great. It's running at 60 now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at the achievements and I realized I never beat part two. I was like, wow, I might have to go through this and play it. So I finished the original Dead Space in 2000, was it 7 or 8? 2008, I believe.
2008. Yeah, you might
Yeah, I finished the remake. Great game. So right now I'm about to play Dead Space 2 because I realized I never finished it. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. So going to play that. But yeah, man, it's dope game. I've been enjoying it.
All right. Is that's mainly what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been trying to finish that. Yeah, and I finished it yesterday. So yep.
Excellent, excellent. Mr. EverbornSaga, how about you, sir? What has been keeping you busy? I know life has kept you off of this show and sometimes off of gaming. Do you have any chance for it this week?
Yes, but I'm still working my way through Hi-Fi Rush. I think I'm like 11 hours in. So Mimosa is the boss that I'm up to now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I think I'm getting close to the end.
Yeah, you close.
I cannot say enough praise about it, and we already went through it, so I won't bore everybody with that again. But I'm just trying to weigh next because I think I'm going to finish it probably this weekend. And then my question is, do I go to Dead Space Remake or do I just wait it out for Atomic Heart?
Yeah, you might actually be at Atomic Heart territory at that point, bro. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So, and then by the time I get to Dead Space in March, because March might be light.
Resident Evil 4?
There you go. There you go. See? Yeah. It's coming. It's hot and heavy.
Yeah, man. You got to aim.
No, but I can't miss Dead Space. I don't know how I'm going to work that out. We'll see.
Yeah, man. So many games, so little time.
Shout out to Punty in the chat. He says, Dirt Griggity, good
it's so many no games.
What's
so
up,
many
Punty?
no games?
How you doing?
So many no games.
Right.
So that's what you've been playing as well? Because I'm about to go in because I clearly
no you do well let me do my obligatory Harry Potter.
No. Let me.
I'm not
start.
hating on the game.
Let me start, and you can give me your opinions. I want to start.
I just think Harry Potter as a franchise.
Just stop. Don't alienate the fans before they even get in the chat. Now stop it.
All right.
So
but I may buy it out of spite just because of
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Stupid controversy.
I appreciate that you and Dirt have not played it, and you were telling me in the green room that you right now have no instinct to want to eventually pick it up. I hear you on that. Okay, so let me come to you. Let me bring this to the congregation, as it were, and see if I.
While you do that, I'm gonna go to sleep really quick.
Stop it. Listen to this, man. So okay, I like you am not the hugest Harry Potter fan. I have watched the movies, right? I tend to be about the geek culture. So if it's causing some heat somewhere, I want to check it out, see if I like it, see if I don't like it, whatever. Harry, like the EverbornSaga said, it is a poor man's Tolkien. I get it, all that, right? So I saw that, and this was during that YA time of the generations where a bunch of folks were really deep into that YA stuff. So honestly, it was like, okay, it's cool, but there are those out there who are, militant about it. That's just not me. I outgrew it early on. It is what it is, okay? So that's cool. But I always respected it for what it did, and it's all that, right? So I've seen that people have been wanting a game in this world for a long time. When this game came out, and first and foremost, we'll tackle it from the top because of all the controversy, and then I'll talk to y'all about actually the game proper. So first and foremost, for those out there who, obviously, if you're watching the show more, most likely you already know the controversy. The original creator of said wizarding world has been mired in controversy because of various statements that she made. And how you feel about those comments and all of that. That's neither here nor there. That's notwithstanding, because I posit that this game is not associated with that, and they've really, really come out and said so, and I'll take them at their word, right? She is the basis for which this world is created. She collected that huge fat check a long time ago. This has nothing to do with that. That's neither here nor there. So let's move forward. But
wait, she wasn't coding the game?
This is what I'm
She
saying.
wasn't in there doing the motion capture?
There are some people who are out there who are really, really upset about this. And to them, I say, make sure you don't do it on Twitter because the owner of Twitter also has those issues. Make sure you don't drive a Volkswagen, you Nazi. Make sure you don't use an iPhone, you horrible human. You know, we can go down that path, right? So those disingenuous arguments, that's neither here nor there. But and even to make a point even finer, because Everborn, you and I, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it last week. But like Forspoken, right? It came out. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is a bad game. This is a bad game." Like, in addition to its badness of a game as far as technical and playability and all of that, I contend that every time Square puts out a game and they put a person who looks like me in it, they're trying to say something. And usually what they say is not good. And Forspoken is a prime example. I ain't gonna go all there, but those who have played it know that. I can stand on my Square and say that, right? And I have no reason to feel upset for those who are like, I enjoyed it. That's you, right? When I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and Barrett shows up, I want to throw a tomato at the screen, right? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna hate on you for exactly, you know, shucking and jiving and BSing. You know.
Well, hold on. How do you feel about Coltrane if that's the case?
Same thing. Also Colt, like from Deathloop, same. I don't know why black characters got to sound like 70s exploitation.
Hey,
everybody got to sound like slow-mo backslide.
Hey, sucker.
yes.
You jive turkey. Who win?
Exactly, right? And when they didn't do that with her rap sheet was an arm's length in 10 minutes. She's getting stuck up by the cops. She's, you know, just all your generic, ridiculous, disingenuous, you know, African American tropes from jump. So to me, they got an agenda. But you don't see me on Twitter waving my flag going, you know, you are a horrible human for whatever. So all that, we'll just throw that in the bushes as ILP says. You know, we don't deal with that here. But what I will say is, so because of all of that, right? As Everborn and I have posited in the DMs, we think that this possibly was a feature, not a bug of the promotional arm,
and everybody fell for it.
Bro, let me tell you, I fell for it hook, line, and sinker, and I'm happy I did because let me tell you this, okay? So, I'm a fair weather Star Wars fan, right? Real quick, fair weather Star Wars fan. I appreciate it. I love the original trilogy, but I think where Star Wars shines is Rogue One. I think where Star Wars shines is The Mandalorian or The Bad Batch. Things that are world building in that world, but not necessarily always with the robes and the lightsabers, right? Build that world. Show others living in that world how they live their life. I personally think that, you know, that speaks more and is far more intelligent, right? With that in mind, the whole Harry Potter world, if you will, it looks to me, and I've identified this a long time ago, that it looks like they basically followed that formula, and then the kids outgrew the formula, right? And hey, you now own this franchise. The kids are now not kids anymore. How are you going to keep this alive? Let's grow beyond the kids.
The terrible Fantastic Beast movies.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
No. I hear you. Right? They tried to move beyond the kids. And you know, I call them the Skywalkers. They are the Skywalkers of that world. They tried to move beyond them. And in those movies that you're referencing, to me, they haven't been successful at, right? So I'm just like, okay, that's them. I've seen them. I've you know, I'll catch it on HBO if it happens to be on, but I'm not seeking those things out. That's fine, right? Then this game comes out and all this consternation shows up and people are talking about,
one thing before you
please,
continue.
Please. Go ahead.
To me, Harry Potter is basically the Hunger Games or Divergent.
Didn't I just say that? It's the YA. It's the YA generation. Yes.
If this is successful, I guarantee you're going to see a bunch of games in this.
But this is where you're wrong, sir. This is where I was wrong. Okay, you might still feel that way, but this is where I was wrong. So I came into this going, look, it's this whole Harry Potter thing. The minute that Harry was too old, he started growing a beard. This IP just went downhill, right? And you can see that represented by those bad movies you've seen. They've tried it many times. It doesn't seem to connect, right? It just doesn't, right? It looks like instead of continuing down that path, they handed this IP to a game developer and a studio that had such a passion for the world that they have done what I consider the impossible. They have gotten me interested in the world without any of the preconceived history, the prior history that was there. There is no Harry. There is none of those characters are there. None of that stuff is there. All that stuff that kept kids coming to it, all that stuff that kept the IP alive, right? All gone. So obviously it has to be a cash grab, but it is not. The attention to detail, like just the world. You can, like anybody can jump into this world and be lost for hours. I was like, I'll try it. 5 hours later, I'm still playing this game.
But that, that is just sort of the beauty of WB Games, right? They're the only,
yes,
one of the few, not the only, but like this is what they're designed for. So whenever they're adapting an IP, WB Games always takes it seriously. Like they are the movie adaptation. It's the gold standard.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to that, and with that in mind, my first inkling of it was like, I start my character creator, bro, and we on this show have not been afraid to speak on it. And I'm looking at you, Square. I always bring them up, Barrett and all of them, with the ridiculous, like the way they characterize them, their hair, like it's just a problem. The first like gold medal they deserve. Man, the fades are on point, bro. They represent the black person correctly.
How would you compare it to Horizon Forbidden West? I feel like that was the best.
It is Horizon
I
Forbidden
know they don't
West
have character
caliber.
creators. Okay.
It is Horizon Forbidden West caliber, and that is like the best kind of platitudes I can throw at it. They really took their time and did it right. And when I say that, I don't just mean the Fade or the black people. I mean every single character you come across. Everborn, you know how I am with people and accents. The first character you meet is a Ugandan girl. They do it all like spot on, like amazing. The Asian characters, the African characters, the trans characters, every single one, like unusually well represented and cared for and respected, So all that makes me think they kind of knew the smoke was coming. So they took their time and went, look, we're going to get that smoke, but when people pay attention and they actually look at the substance of what we have to offer, we want to make sure they see what we're showing them rather than what the narratives are.
All right. Let me say this thing, because I don't think I've said it in public, right?
Yes,
when I say this whole thing was a marketing psyop, I genuinely believe that the whole controversy was stirred up by the marketing team. I think they created bots. I think they had people go in and pretend to be upset about this thing, so it would cause a controversy, and then people would make articles about the people who are upset about it, and then people would make videos about those articles about the people who are upset, and then people would argue with each other, and then you get this
the WB toxic, department. Yes. All news is good news
facing
kind of
each other, right?
Yes.
It's this feedback loop that you get, and then magically everybody has to check it out. All the people who hate it, all the people who love it.
But
and
let me be honest with you.
Articles about it. Wait, let me just finish this last point. And we see this. Disney started this, right? Right. So every movie where there's like
I refuse to let you finish because you are still downplaying the actual content of the game. All that is true, but the content of the game far transcends the BS
but
around
I can't
it.
Talk about the game.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, you need to calm down because you haven't played it. But this is my point. This is not Harry Potter. This has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
I think the Wired article was also part of the marketing.
Sure.
Because you know why? Harry Potter, because of the drama, like no one would be talking. I'm not saying nobody would be talking about it. The hardcore fans would be talking about it.
Sure.
But everybody, even non-Harry Potter fans, are talking about it because of things like that.
But the
Wired
problem,
article.
look,
and we're talking about it right now. Look at it. It's happening.
No, Everborn. But see, this is where I am respectfully. I say you're mistaken because yes, the psyops is there, and I agree with you. My analogy was they literally hired their Jerry Springer. He woke up in the morning, put on his little tie, and went, I'm going to go start some ish. I know that people will dislike it, so Kotaku, you ain't getting the code. This person, you ain't getting the code. Let's start some ish to get people riled up. You are 100%.
Cambridge
I'm with you.
Analytica is behind this.
I am 100% with you on it. But in a vacuum, remove Harry Potter. Remove anything you know from this IP. What these developers have made is genuinely brilliant. Like, brilliant. Without any prior history. You will never hear the words Harry Potter in this game. They don't exist in this world. This was 200 years before they even showed up. This is, to me, this is their Rogue One moment, where it blows past all the prior, oh, it's all about this family, all about these people, and then now it's about the world and you living there and seeing what others do in this world. It is brilliant. Every way, and obviously those who know this IP know that it was ripe for a good game, because everything can be gamified in this thing. And it's so good. The combat systems, the characters are well drawn. Like, it is outstandingly good. Right? So as far as the psyops and all that, I will completely agree with you, but I am appreciative of the fact that the substance of the game itself transcends all that BS. And I'm telling you, for those who say PCMR, don't let any PCMR dude fool you. It's because they cheap. I bought this for $40. That's why I bought it on PC. Otherwise, I probably would not have bought it for $70, because we're going to get into that as well. That's why I got it. And not to be outdone, while they spent so much time and energy and they really honed in on what makes this great, they forgot the PC optimization, so the thing runs trash. Absolute trash.
Well, you got what you paid for. You only paid $40 for it.
Yes, it runs.
Got it on the console.
You know, my machine on average can run 144 frames per second because we got the beast. But this thing fluctuates between 144 and 10 frames per second at a moment's notice, unless you turn off ray tracing. Now, I will say I went online and I started talking to people. It seems like it may be an NVIDIA thing. For those who know, they usually release drivers. If you're on an AMD graphics card or even on the damn Steam Deck, it runs well, flawlessly. It's just NVIDIA folks so far. And of course, I have a 3080, so it's been kind of being really choppy for me. But we shall see. You see Pixelbit G in the chat.
A sword in this game. That's all I want to know.
I am only 5 hours in. I will talk to Boomstick, who's like 20 plus hours in. The thing about this game
Wandering Dutch says it's Skyrim with wizards and witches.
Yes, and he is right. It is very good.
When I play Skyrim and when I play
you're a sword and shield
Elden
guy.
Ring, yes,
You're not a wizard.
Vanguard.
I get it. You're not a wizard, Everborn. I get it. I
don't like the projectiles. I need to get
but
close.
All I'm saying is,
and punch
do not let the Harry Potter stankonia stop you from trying this game. If you want to, try it on a sale or whatever. Go into it, even with the hate. Go into it with the hate that you have in your mind. I guarantee you, you give it 30 minutes, it will change your mind. It is that good. Everborn, if you want to try it, I will share my Steam library with you. Play it on the deck. Put it all to low settings. It is very good. The attention to detail is just magnificent. Oh my God. Anyway, so this is just me on here capping for this game, telling y'all to play it because it's actually pretty damn good. People in the chat, please let me know if you've tried it. How has the drama affected your thoughts on it? What I will say about this, what you're saying, Everborn, is where I agree with you is I suspect had this drama not been like forefront in the whole conversation about this game, I think probably you would have heard more about, well, in the late stage game the combat may get repetitive. I've heard a little bit of that, but you don't hear much of that because of all the stuff around it. So there might be some of that.
In the chat, Gabe in the chat says, also you got a super chat there, but Gabe in the chat says, is it really being boycotted or just people using that term a lot in posts? Seems like a lot of gamers are still playing it. Here's the thing. Boycotts never work.
No, they don't.
They don't work. They didn't work on Captain Marvel.
They actually work in the opposite direction usually.
Exactly. And this is why listen, if I'm gonna put you guys on some game real quick. This is what they do, right? Um, if your movie is not getting buzz when it comes out, you know what you do? Have your director or lead actor come
say
out
some
and
crazy
say,
madness.
the MCU is ruining the cinema experience. And then
Yeah.
everybody will get mad. Everybody will go and rage tweet, and you'll have this whole conversation again about superhero fatigue and blah, blah, blah. And then everyone goes and sees that person's movie to see if it's bad or in
See,
protest to say, yes,
see, usually
I hate
in that,
superhero movies
but
too.
in that instance that you're describing, usually the formula works. But then you see the movie and you first go, it wasn't that bad, and it also ends up being anticlimactic.
It doesn't matter.
Because the movie
Stop
is
right
not
there.
really that good.
Stop right there.
See,
Stop right
that's
there.
the part you
saw
don't
the
want to
movie.
continue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You saw the movie.
Sure.
That's it. Right?
Sure.
And people
Success,
bought the
yes.
game. That's
Yes.
it. It doesn't matter if you liked it after that.
Well,
they got
no,
your
no,
money.
but the point is, once they've done that, if it's a terrible piece of content, then you've been had. I contend the content transcends the BS. It's very good, even if you don't like Harry Potter.
No, but this is what I'm saying. They knew they were making a diverse and inclusive game, and they knew that people, and that's why you
Sure.
create the controversy, and then you prove it,
And you prove
that,
it by yes, because
this is what I'm
that's
saying.
on purpose. Because the first thing I
Yes,
saw
this is-
was a
it's all a
well-represented
setup.
Ugandan woman. I'm like, you don't see this in video games. Like, her accent's on point, her hair is on point. Everybody, like, when does this happen? Right? And then, of course, on the flip side, they say obviously that folks in the trans community, I actually haven't even heard a single trans person really like out and out upset right now. Maybe I haven't been paying attention,
No,
but I have
there were
heard trans people
pretending
actually
to be mad on behalf
sure.
of trans people.
But I've
That's
actually
what
heard
happened.
trans people actually say they like this game and they don't know where the BS is. I've actually heard that. But one of the first
Because
trans
you know why?
characters you
You
meet,
know why you heard that?
badass
You know why you heard
chick,
that?
represented very well. Go ahead.
You know why you heard that?
Why?
Because they're real people.
Sure.
And the people that were complaining
No.
were performing.
Are caricatures of themselves. Yes, absolutely. So okay, let's hit the chat. I know there's a lot of conversation already happening there. So let's see. I hope I don't butcher your name. D Skills H Town. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says they didn't create bots. They don't have to in 2023. The media is in search to amplify insanity and drama. Yeah, no joke.
And like
Absolutely.
Dave Ramos says, we're exposing the PR industrial complex.
Yes, we are.
So
Yes,
watch
we are.
out now.
Yes, we are. Now,
They might come for us next.
Now, I won't say, this is not me saying to y'all, oh, it's good, so forget all the BS surrounding it. I'm saying don't let the BS, if you like games and you want adventure, this is a hard RPG adventure game. You'll be busy for hours. If you are that kind of gamer, don't let the BS surrounding this thing stop you from trying it. It is actually pretty darn good. It really, really is. It really is. So
I might check it out.
please, and I would love to hear. And how are you as a Wizarding World person? Obviously, Everborn's a hater. Everborn hater. Where do you come with it?
I don't hate it. I just never got into it. I saw the first movie when it first came out. Was that 2002 or something?
Yeah.
I saw the first one, but I never watched any of the other movies. So I don't hate it. I just not really invested in the world.
So you are the prime subject for this kind of stuff. You're neither here nor there. It's a game. Why not give it a shot? I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
I
anti
give it a
$70, cool. Wait for a sale, but I do recommend it.
No,
Like,
I give it a
yeah.
shot. It's like with I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I loved
Because Star Trek is better.
the Fallen Jedi Order. I'm
On
not
that
a
I
Star
won't
Trek fan
disagree, but continue.
So even though I'm not a fan of Star Wars, I love that game. I'm looking forward to the next one, Survivor. What is it called? Survivor or whatever.
Survivor. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I would definitely give it a try, man. If I don't like it, I don't like it, but
There you go.
I'll definitely give it a try.
So
Because
yeah,
I'm
Gabe.
hearing like people saying it's really great. So
it's unusually
Gabe,
good.
the answer to both those questions is yes.
Oh. What, are we missing something? We will move swiftly
No.
along, sir.
No, just look what he said. You can highlight the comment.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see here. So let's say.
Last
And by the way, let me thank everybody for being here. I see the Black John is in here. I see Punty's in here. I see Dave Ramos. Shout out to you, good sir. Live Supremacy, Big Mad Mo, Lucius Augustus. Thank you guys. Always pulling up. And the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Pixel Bit G. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. So let's see. Gabe asked Everborn. Let's see. if studios are creating controversy and if it's working, then they think that it's they think very little of the public. The public will fall for anything, and then everything. Then that's true. But what I suspect,
and then his follow up,
okay, and his follow up is, we must be a bunch of sheeps to the studios.
So as I said, the answer to both those questions is yes.
Sure, but if the subject matter, if the content was trash, it would have been high, and then fallen off a cliff. That's what would have happened here, right? And it hasn't. And even people like me who are in a predisposition to go, come on now. Even I tried it, and I was now where you're right, Everborn. They got me to hit the buy button. That's true. I got a discount, so that's good. But they got me to hit the buy button.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got.
But I was.
By the way,
ready.
Shout out to Sycamore and Dragons in the chat.
Oh, what's going on, gentlemen? Dragons, I am waiting for your review and unboxing of the PSVR 2, sir. I'm looking forward to hearing your take. And welcome to you. See, like, if it was trash, I'd be here telling you it's trash, right? But I'm here to report. Don't let the hype or the anti-hype fool you. It's actually pretty darn good. Okay, so before we move on and talk some news stories and stuff that's going on, I kind of want to diverge a little bit because I've been sending messages in the DMs and Twitter and all of that, and folks always ask me, so I've been kind of slowly aggregating this stuff, and I'm going to start dropping this in our shows from time to time and letting people know what I think, and maybe you guys can let me know what you think. A segment I want to call Free 99, where I want to at least share with y'all a few games that are coming out that are free, absolutely free, games that maybe you weren't aware of that you could just get. We are all subscribers of some service or another. Maybe you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, or maybe you're a PC user or something like that, or even if you have a Steam Deck. There are so many games out there that you need to actually put your hands on that you might not even know are out there. So I figured maybe this is a prime opportunity to potentially, share a few of those with you. Not many, though. This week I'll be short with it because as the week goes on, I'll make sure that we share a lot more. I did want folks to know Amazon right now has this amazing deal going on where there's just like a whole lot of games being shared, like games that you would be like surprised that are still available. I'm talking games like Elder Scrolls, Game of the Year edition, like Morrowind. If you never tried that before, it's available on there for free. Maybe it's a situation of if you guys want, I can do separate videos on it, or we can put some stuff in the show notes. But folks need to see that more of this exists, because then you can run it on your Steam Deck and you have free games that you can totally run with. So my suggestion to you would be, check out all those areas. If you're following like Wario64 and all these other folks, check out all those areas where games are being given away for free and stuff. You will be surprised at some of the really interesting things that are out there. But okay, that was my short little tirade, and I see you there, Mr. Slowmo Backslap. Welcome, good sir. I see you in the chat. Let's move on and actually talk properly about some of the news stories of this week, because yes, I know there's been a lot of, well, you know what, even before I do that, we will talk news proper, but like semi-related to what I was discussing just a moment ago. If no one's heard of it, it is called The Next Fest. It is on Steam right now, and it's literally a bunch of games coming out in the future that you can play demos of right now. And the reason why I bring this up for especially our Xbox audience is because one of those games, which demo you can play right now, is Planet of Lana, coming day one to Xbox, and I think Game Pass as well, right? I don't know if they're actually releasing the demo for Xbox yet, but if you have a Steam Deck or you have any kind of PC and you want to give it a shot, it is a free game that you can actually partake of right now. Check it out. Game's not released until second quarter of 2023, so it's a cool opportunity. This and hundreds more demos out there. So let's switch to news proper. But yes, as you said, EverbornSaga, let's get there. This game has sold gangbusters, and I'm talking, of course, about Hogwarts Legacy. I've already expounded on how much I like it and whatnot. And if you've seen the numbers, they say the only one that it has not defeated as far as launch window is Cyberpunk 2077. What do you think about that, Everborn?
I think the PSYOP worked. I think it generated enough buzz because remember, Harry Potter was on a downward like decline because of the time that had passed and then the damage that Fantastic Beasts has done to the franchise in terms of people's excitement about it. And I just don't. I didn't like people were excited about it, but the fever pitch of everyone hearing about it and talking about it and it being the number one thing did not start until this controversy happened. Right?
Okay.
So once the controversy happened, now no one could stop talking about it in the lead up. Do we think how many times does that have to happen before we stop seeing that it's not an accident?
So you think there was no had this game released standard fair, like nobody spoke about it, it would have just kind of came and went, no big deal. They specifically went in the boardroom and went, all right, let's get some ish started. Let's start to smoke. Let's start a billowing.
I think they hire marketing teams where they don't ask no questions. That's what I think.
Well,
I'm not saying there's some evil mastermind at WB, but you hire your marketing team for this thing, and magically everybody's talking about your game. And then the marketing
Mr.
team
Slow-Mo Backslap is in the chat challenging you, saying that is not evidence, sir. He wants evidence. He wants you
I
to
just
want to
know how many times these boycotts and things have to happen, and this fever pitch conversation has to happen before we see what's going on. You can dig your head in the sand all you want and pretend like, oh, this is all just organic, right? But what's really happening?
True. And Eternal Shaddai in the chat, and shout out to you, sir. By the way, I will be on Good Morning Xbox on Sunday.
I thought you were about to say Good Morning America for us.
No, Good Morning Xbox, where he is a co-host. So shout out to you, Eternal Shaddai. He's in the chat and he asked the question. The question is, which game is the best selling? Was it Elden Ring or will it be Hogwarts Legacy? A lot of people are throwing that Elden Ring. This is my Elden Ring of 2023. Like, Dirt, are you an Elden Ring dude? Is all this conversation even moving the needle for you? Or it's just like, come on, wake me up when there's a good game out. What are you thinking?
Nah, I'm a versatile gamer, but I'm not a From Software guy at all.
Okay.
I did buy Elden Ring because I got
because the hype worked for you too.
Yeah, I'm not a From Software guy.
It worked on me too, bro. I didn't finish it. I was close, but I didn't finish it. It worked on me too. Go ahead.
I wasn't even close. I put like 2 hours. I put like 2 hours in it, and then I was done with it. I just don't like their style of game. That's just me.
Yeah.
But Hogwarts Legacy looks more like my style of game, and I just feel that the franchise, it just seems like to me people just wanted something from the franchise, and this game came out. The game looks quality, and people just bought it, man. Like, I want to try it out. And word of mouth is a pretty good form of advertisement, and when you hear that the game is good and it starts to spread, and people buy it, man. So I think that's what's really going on.
Okay, then.
Just my opinion.
For Elden Ring was my first From Software game, and maybe the first 15 hours I hated the game. Talked smack about it every week.
We have the digital receipts right here on this show.
But then when you understand what it's asking of you, when you really look at what they did with the world, and you kind of build your character because in the beginning you don't feel powerful, and you start to understand that that's by design, and now you kind of go from prey to hunter, and then that kind of changes the dynamic of the game. So for me, and this has never happened to me before, like a game that I initially hated ended up being one of my favorite games, like, of all time.
And maybe that should teach you something for future games, sir. I'm just saying.
It's not gonna work for Harry Potter.
All right, so I just on that note, before we move on, I do want to know. I do want to hear from the chat. I put a poll up. Will you buy
I expect Everborn to be a hater. Like, that's the one that should win. And
will you buy Hogwarts? Your options are easy. Yes, you will. No, you won't. You're already playing it, or Everborn's a hater. Pick your choice.
I voted for Everborn as a hater. I just want everybody to know.
So there we go. Okay, we will see how the numbers mature here. But yes, it is looking like it's taking over, and the psyops has definitely worked. Absolutely, the psyops has worked. But okay. We know y'all are here for the ABK drama, and we're gonna get there. But I want to know if any
Slow-Mo
of
believes
y'all,
in coincidences.
I want to know if any of y'all happen to have watched the creator of this format, Ye Old Nintendo Direct. Anybody watch it?
Yeah.
You watched it, Dirt? How about
Only
you?
because I was on Gaming Addict show and
you were
watched
there
it
and you
together.
were watching it together. Okay. Shout out to Addict. Shout out to Addict. I assume Mr. EverbornSaga did not watch this.
I did not watch. I didn't. You know what I was doing this week, man.
I know. You were busy. I hear you, and I'm not gonna give you any smack for that. But let's quickly go over the broad strokes. I won't go through all the games because there were a lot of games announced. Okay, and a lot of folks gave me a lot of smoke because Ham Solo show they were talking about it and they gave it a D+. and I made the unfortunate remark in the chat that then got blown up and put on Twitter that the same amount of time that they had their show is the same amount of time Xbox had their show. They showed like 45 games. Xbox showed like 5, and people seem to think Xbox's show was a success. And the by and large, unless you're a diehard Nintendo fan, people didn't like this show. So I'll go to you first, Dirt. What was your broad strokes? We'll get into the details, but what was your takeaway from this show?
Okay, let me explain this first. I am not a Nintendo fan whatsoever in any way.
Have you ever been? Have you fallen out of love with Nintendo, or you've been a hater of Nintendo from jump?
I was always a Sega guy.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're among good
console
company.
war now, but let me
Okay.
tell you, when I was in elementary school on the playground, I was the only guy that had a Sega Master System. Everybody else had an NES, and we was console warring back then.
Okay.
I respect Nintendo for what they've done for the industry, but not a fan. None of their games interest me. None of them.
Okay.
Zelda, none of them interest me. That's just me.
Okay.
I'm not
Hey,
saying you
hashtag
can't,
never
you know.
forget. We know what Nintendo did back in the 80s.
I'm never. So this show, none of it interests me at all. I'm just
Okay.
looking at it. Hey, you know.
Absolutely. That'll help us move along quicker. Continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain that first.
Yes.
But I can see how a Nintendo fan might like this, like the show.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple games that looked fine. So I mean, I don't really have much to say about it.
Okay.
I just not a fan. I don't care about any of their games.
No, that's good. That's good. So let's take the broad strokes. Yeah, there are lots of games. It's almost like they put their titles in word soup and they pick it out. You know, trench coat wearing weird titles for games, and they just put them out there. So many of them will just kind of go over your heads. A few broad strokes that are interesting, right? A few takeaways from this show. First and foremost, Advance
I feel like you
Wars.
should save this for the end because people only want to care. People are only going to care about Tears of the Kingdom. You should probably talk about the other stuff.
Oh no, we're gonna get there. Advanced Wars is coming out. The Advanced Wars the reboot, if you will. Well, remake, I think it is 1 and 2. Those who loved it, Advanced Wars was out there, very good. Did you EverbornSaga hear about the Game Boy Advanced and Game Boy and standard Game Boy coming to
Being added to
their online services?
So I did hear about that, and it is something. Listen, I mean, this is why they try to crack down on emulation, but you can't stop it. But for the people who don't want to go through all of that, I really think it's great what they're doing, right? Like, preserve that legacy. Yeah, you're paying for a service, but like, we came up on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and stuff, and them, having a place where you could get it. That's basically like Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Like all the old Disney movies right there, one place.
So although I throw a little bit of shade on that notion, at least Disney still lets you buy them separately.
That's the problem. Yes, they should absolutely let you just buy these games since we know they run on this hardware. I mean, they could run on any hardware, but you know what I'm saying.
They run on your phone.
They
probably better too. I'm just saying.
Right. So, but they have this avenue. They should let you buy it in their Nintendo store instead of this thing. But again, they don't even try to kill you with the price of their online service. What is it for the year?
I think it's
$50 or
$60. Well, with the expansion pass and all that, I think it's like $60 and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Oh, go ahead. Please
so
finish.
for me, I want to take my hats off them, and I want them to do more of this. And I love how they're breaking it down by the console, right? And then you can go in and kind of choose what games you want. So I've always been a fan of it, and the more they add, like I think the better. And I think it's a great way to do a subscription service if you can't do day and date. You lean on the legacy. I think PlayStation could learn a little bit from this. And I know their service is a lot of the old stuff, but it doesn't feel like how Nintendo's doing it. So
real quick, I see the man Scrub Nurse in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. And he has the $5 super chat, and he's saying, "What's up, fam? Dropping a little into the collection plate. Happy to see you guys grow and continual success. Hit the like button." Thank you, good
Wait a
sir.
minute. So I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Sorry. Pixelbit G. Who said that nonsense? Someone tried to claim the service was now better than Game Pass.
I believe it.
Okay.
Who? I don't want to curse. I don't want to get demonetized.
Let's not start that smoke. Let's not start that smoke on the show, because whoever started that is clearly coming with an agenda. That's hilarious. Okay. But I will say though, say what you will. We all have our moments, and Everborn's moment's about to come. We all have ours. Mine was when they showed me a monochrome Game Boy with Tetris on it. OG Tetris. I blinked and I was 8 years old. It was in my hand and I played that thing for a good 30 minutes and went, oh my God, it's there. Like, I hadn't gotten that feeling of that OG, because for those who know, I couldn't get consoles when I was a kid, religious family, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, the one I could keep was the one I could hide, which was the Game Boy. So I had Game Boy with Tetris for a long time.
I never understood that about religious people in technology.
Let's not go there.
Where are you getting a video game has any correlation to the devil? It makes no sense. But anyway.
If humans were able to make light and games out of their fingers, it would secrete from them. This is the devil's. No, I'm just BSing. I'm absolutely BSing. I always say if black people were meant to fly, we'd have wings. I'm sorry. This is what it is. Ridiculousness. I know. But yes.
This is the kind of logic that would get you slapped as a kid, by the way.
Oh, of course. You're damn right it is. Absolutely. But yes.
But when you pay your own mortgage, you can say what's on your mind.
You can say what's on your mind. That's right.
I tell my kids that all the
time. I will say I do have a little bit of an issue with the amount of stuff they released on this thing, because it was just like literally like 3 games here, 4 games there. It's like, obviously it will grow in time. The Genesis collection on their system is pretty good, and 64 is pretty decent, Nintendo, all that. This will grow too. But in the beginning, I was just like, come on, guys. You're going to release like 1 or 2 games? Like, give us a good library from jump. But they did have Tetris in there, so I will not be taking any further slander from any of this. So to me, that was cool. Another thing I really quickly want to bring up, and this is for you guys out there, my Steam Deck users, my Steam Deck home brothers and sisters. Yeah, I'll just click this button right here and let y'all just read that real quick. And yes, the thing here is that is already a part of a archive, because the powers that be made them stop it real quick here. So if you happen to own yourself a Steam Deck and you want to play it the right way, yeah. So yeah, Metroid Prime Remaster came out. Runs like 12 frames per second on the Abacus, but you'll enjoy yourself if you have other means, which I have.
I actually got to hit you up about that later today, because I think I want to buy it and try to emulate it on the Steam Deck.
It is glorious on the deck. 60 frames per second, runs beautifully. It makes me have hope for Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, let's get to that.
And friendly reminder, people, emulation is 1,000% legal.
Absolutely, 100%.
Not illegal, it's legal.
Yes,
and you can do it. So you can buy the game.
They'll probably put it on the internet. They'll probably like shout at you. Nintendo might go, no, don't do that. Don't want you to show that. But
nobody said put it on the internet. I just
within
said
your rights to rip your games and put it wherever you so choose. So
and maybe play it on that Steam Deck.
Or heck, play it on your PC if you have a PC that can handle it.
Whoa! I didn't say anything about PC. I need you to slow down,
bro.
Take it easy.
Breath of the Wild,
take a step back.
4K 120. Are you kidding me? Like, with everything. Anyway, let's move forward before you continue the slanderous road. Thank you so much. We have Dave Ramos in the chat continuing the conversation, and he left a $5 super chat. He's saying, showing some support for you folks, enjoying the show with you this Saturday. He's got that that Saturday morning coffee feeling. I appreciate you, sir. Yes, after this show, I will. Well, I have my coffee right here, sir. I appreciate you being here and enjoying your Saturday morning with us.
Just
Thank you very much.
Real quick, I do want to say to Punty in the chat, while I was a Sega kid and I was in those schoolyards fighting on behalf of Sega.
Okay.
Link to the Past was the first game that I like played and completed, and to this day, I still think it's the greatest game ever made, all time.
Okay.
Link to the Past.
Okay. And Link.
I'm right there with you, Punty.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't Link to the Past the OG version also now out like in their subscription service? I thought I saw that. Am I wrong?
Maybe I have a ROM and I played every couple of years, just start to finish.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. Like, I'll tell you right now, we're talking about what do you call it being $70? If they gave Link to the Past the Link's Awakening sort of remake treatment, you know, top down, but with the 3D graphics or whatever,
go ahead.
I would
get up and just say me. Yeah. Okay. See, you see where everyone goes,
and I'll
right?
be happy to do it.
We stand on our square until we get to the one that scratches our itch, and then all of a sudden it's like, charge me more. Okay. On that point, though, let us.
You know when you're at the restaurant and you don't want the wait staff to embarrass you, so they bring you the check and you say no, take this card and get out of my face. That's what I would do if they remade Link to the Past.
But you do realize I would not let you do that, right? Please, I would not let you do that, right? I would make sure everyone hears and sees you doing that ridiculousness. You know that? Right? Oh,
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Shout out to the man, BitCloud Gaming. Salute to you, sir. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. We got to get this man back on the show. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. So let's real quick before we move on, right? Because yeah, you know, people like or dislike, you know, where Nintendo has gone. And by the way, real quick, 80%, I would say a generous reading, 80% of the games that were shown off here, except of course all the first party ones, are on Game Pass as well, or are coming, has been reported since the show. So every time I watch those directs, I'm like, I'll be playing that on Game Pass, might try that on Game Pass. No different on this show as well. So yes, they may be like, ooh, look at all these Nintendo games. Yeah, they're Game Pass games too. So you can definitely play them there. I will say though, this game was interesting to me, and this is Disney Illusion Island. I like Disney games. They look fun. I'm always looking for something to play with my kids, something that's not ridiculous. That looked fun to me. I might try that. Besides that though, nothing else really spoke to me, but I do, Everborn, want to talk to you about Tears of the Kingdom and them confirming that yes, the abacus known as the Switch will now be charging you $70 for your DLC.
Okay, so there is zero reason for this game to cost $70.
There's zero reason for it to cost $60. Continue.
However, this is all about supply and demand. And the demand
Digital
is
supply
there,
and demand.
And you have clowns like me that would be so hyped to play it that they will pay for it. But I will not be like the people that we complained about because I'm not happy about it.
Oh, so
they'll get my money.
So you're not gonna sit there and go, oh, it's value add.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you macroeconomics. That's not what I'm gonna say.
Macroeconomic situations are on the ground. So
I am only going to say they are doing it because they can, and it's because of people like me, and it's because of the industry that has already gone in that direction, and now they have to explain to their shareholders why that they're not charging $70 for a game that so many people
runs like 5 frames per second.
They don't
on
care.
Hardware.
Okay, does Nintendo care about frame rate? Right. So my point is, they're doing it because they can, not because they need to. And that's
and you're gonna completely allow them to do so by giving them all your money because this is
but I'm
Breath of the Wild
but
DLC.
I'm not going to be happy about it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and I keep pushing you into it, and you're not taking a bait, so I'm going to ask directly. What do you think of the notion? And by the way, have you seen the trailer? The new trailer for Tears of the Kingdom?
No, I haven't seen anything. Because,
I will not play it because Nintendo is, Nintendo, so I will not play it on here.
I'll watch it.
But I want you to watch it, and then after you watch it, and I'll table that, and chat, you can tell me what you think. Even if you are the die-hard, like, Zelda fan, watch that and tell me it's not the next DLC for Breath of the Wild. And what I mean by DLC, I'm talking about the same assets. It's the same Ragnarok argument. It's exactly the same thing. Now, that's not to say, let me be clear here. See, I see Dirt laughing, right? It's not to say that it's a derogatory statement like, oh, it's DLC. It is more of the same using the fundamental groundwork they laid in Breath of the Wild. It's exactly
Wait a minute.
the
Wait
same.
a minute. I don't. We'll have to
Watch
see
the
the
trailer.
game, right?
Watch the
But hold on. Let me say something. The difference in Ragnarok,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like
Choose
they
your
went back
words
to a lot of the
carefully,
same places, right?
Uh-huh.
This is gonna be. I know it's Hyrule, but like this feels like it's gonna be a whole new Hyrule, or is it the
Sure,
same
but
Hyrule
watch
and
the
the same map? Okay, I watched the trailer.
Because
I
when you
watched the
do,
trailer.
because I was like, I ain't paying $70 for this. And then I watched the trailer, and let's be clear, I'm not the hugest Zelda fan.
And then you told a waitress to get that receipt out of your face.
No. That's not it. That's not it. That's not what I said. After I watched the trailer and I saw what I saw, I was like, okay, my confidence level that this will run like butter on Steam Deck are high now. Now I might buy it. Because I'm not buying it for the abacus known as the Switch. I am buying it for 60 frames per second, rock hard frame rate, clean cut.
Pause.
Big pause. It will run. But you know how I knew that? After I saw that trailer. I don't have a problem saying it's DLC.
Wait,
Doesn't
hold on.
necessarily mean it's a
Somebody
bad thing.
Okay, wait, hold on. Black Mamba in the chat says
Okay.
you can't pick and choose.
That's right,
Yes,
Everborn.
the F I can.
Yes, that's right, Everborn. You can't be
Watch
Mr.
me.
DLC 1 minute and then be like, oh, you know, this one's different on the other minute. And actually, I hope he's watching. Salute to the man, King David. I see him getting a lot of smoke online for the same thing. He's like, no, it's not DLC. Even though he was Mr. DLC the whole damn time when it came to Ragnarok. So that conversation will be interesting. I expect the game to be amazing. I expect it to be, you know,
Now,
more
here's-
of Breath
here's
of the
the
Wild
question.
amazing. So,
Here's the question. See, usually I can wait on a game if I don't want to pay full price like I did. I didn't think Gotham Knights was worth 70, so I just waited.
Okay.
And when it was 40, I was like, that's the right price for this game.
Okay.
I'm going to jump in. Same thing with Horizon Forbidden West, which I actually haven't started yet, and I don't know when I'm going to start. Same thing with Callisto Protocol. That you didn't have your ray tracing working on Xbox day one. You're going to wait until you do, and then I'll buy the game.
Yep.
However, Nintendo doesn't lower prices.
Yep. They never lower prices. Like ever,
You can
ever,
wait
ever,
3
ever.
months. You can wait a year.
Yep.
You're gonna pay that $70.
The best bet you got is they got these coupons out there right now where you can buy two games for $100.
2 for $100. Yes,
that
I
may
got
be
that
your
from
only
Boom.
bet. That may be your
Exactly,
only bet.
right? So now the thing is though, Starfield may come out in June, right? This is what Jeff Grubb says. This is what Jez is leaning toward.
I'm on that square. It is June. I'm on the June square. Marchers, hear me. It is coming out in June. Let's go.
So if that happens to be the case, which I love that idea, and I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of people that say you can't put Starfield next to Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy. And to that I say, yes, you can. But we'll come to that in a second. I think, like, I'll just ask you guys here, what are you going to play first if they both come out in that month?
Starfield and Tears and
Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdom.
I mean,
Dirt, go first.
Dirt,
What are you
yeah,
playing?
please.
I'm gonna guess Dirt's gonna go with Starfield.
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't like Nintendo games, and Final Fantasy, I don't care about Final Fantasy either, so definitely Starfield for me.
Okay.
And
what do you? Sorry.
go ahead. I agree with you, Everborn. I think Starfield is a brand new IP from Bethesda, their first brand new IP in years. I think it can survive dropping against those two games, especially Final Fantasy. Nobody cares about Final Fantasy like that anymore. I just feel it's going to be, it's going to be on PC. Zelda isn't on PC. I know you say you can do the Steam Deck stuff, but everybody's going to do that.
It's not on PC.
Yeah, it's definitely not on
absolutely,
PC.
Absolutely.
I think Starfield can really hold its own against any game this year because it is a brand new IP from Bethesda, and we know how people love Bethesda games,
especially PC people love Bethesda.
Especially PC people.
It will be #1 on Steam, and then you got the 30 million Game Pass people to boost it up even more. So I think they're in a position where Starfield can drop, and
it can. Yeah.
This is the importance here, right? In January, PlayStation had an exclusive, and
did?
then I see what you did. But they dropped Hi-Fi Rush right on its neck, and that stole the conversation until Hogwarts came out, right? So for too long, Xbox gamers had to sit out in the cold while everybody else has their exclusive month.
Right.
And if they drop, I'm with King David, and I'm with Dirt on this. You drop Starfield on their necks, like Pixel
in June,
said,
most definitely
in June, yes. Right? And
before
so
E3.
There should be no uncontested months.
Yep.
Facts.
If your competitors have a big game coming out that month, make sure you have one.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
Starfield is what you drop in that month. And it's not about drowning out Tears of the Kingdom, but it will drown out Final Fantasy.
It's about being in the conversation.
I agree.
It's about being in the conversation.
So
absolutely.
You put that out in June. That's the way you go, because now your customers and your fans are not watching everybody else have fun while they're stuck in the house, right? So that's when to me, that's when you do it. And I don't think Tears of the Kingdom suffers. I don't think Starfield suffers, and Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy.
No,
that's the way you do it.
I agree with you. Okay, do you disagree with me that this is before E3?
What do you mean? Oh, when maybe the week of E3. Why not?
They will hit the stage with the game already released. I can see it. I believe
I agree with you.
Right? They'll do the show somewhat between now and March somewhere, and then in June, right before, so that way when they go into E3, they got the wind at their back, people are playing, people are appreciating the game, and then you can share us new things that aren't regurgitations of what you've been saying all this other time, right? And then you can make more promises because you've already adhered to the last promises you made. You were saying
the Black John brings up a very interesting point, and this is the wild card. Diablo 4. If this deal closes, and I think it will. It's not, do you want to drop, because that's your game at that point, and it would be in Game Pass.
Right.
Do you want to drop Starfield next to Diablo 4? I think one of them is going to have to get delayed if the deal closes.
True, because those are two big
because they're going to be
PC
first
IPs.
party. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. They're RPGs, right?
Those are definitely cannibalizing each other. That's for sure. Yes.
So I think that's the only thing, the only way you don't drop Starfield in June.
All right.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Absolutely. Shout out to the chat. I see the man. Gerald Mack is in here. Thank you so much. He has a $5 super chat, and he says, shout out to the Gaming Circle podcast. Better late than never. Salute to the panel. Me, Everborn, Dirt Griggity in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Always representing.
What up?
Appreciate that, man.
J Mac, what's up, bro?
He's such a great member of this community. All right. I understand what you mean by Starfield coming out.
You ain't got nothing better to do.
Yeah, he doesn't say it like that. But we appreciate how he says it. He should. No. On the point of Starfield. So they dropped Starfield. Real quick aside. They dropped Starfield in June. Starfield's out. A game that people play for years to come, right? Understood. And then
Diablo is like that kind of game as well.
That's why I agree with you that them delaying it is probably a smart move, right? Give it room to breathe on both sides. That's cool. What do they talk about on that E3 stage? You think what is the next? Because until Starfield is in the hands of the consumers, it is the big game, right? So by that time, it's out. Do we see the next big game, which would then be Senua, or do they drop something new that we hadn't thought of on that E3 stage? What are your thoughts, everybody?
So I think we're gonna get a future outlook, right? And I think you see Avowed. I think you're gonna Forza. You're gonna see more of that because that'll be close to coming out. Which Forza, there's no date now, so it'll probably make the 6 months or whatever. I mean, maybe Hellblade, but I and this would also be a perfect time for Indiana Jones, and we don't even know what else Bethesda's working on, right?
Yeah.
In this new world of Shadow Drop,
I am still waiting for them to tell me what's going on with Blazkowicz, man. Come on now. Where is Wolfenstein? Where you at?
id Software, like Doom
right.
Eternal, came out in 2020, right?
Yep, and all their DLCs are done at this point. Like, what are you doing?
Right, and then you got Contraband, which
I think we're gonna see that this year. This year.
And what is Compulsion working on and all of that. So I think we're gonna see a lot this year to kind of set that roadmap, and then we're gonna know what's coming out 2024. But
I agree.
I don't. So we had a conversation about this, Kay. I wanted to bring this up. You think they should do the 12-month outlook again?
So okay,
and I don't.
So.
This is what I think. This is what I think. I think that we didn't ask for it. We didn't necessarily want it, right? But if they are able to thread that needle correctly, because now we have a different venue besides E3, right? We have the E3 venue, which we've always had, right? And every time they do all these little side projects, these side shows, it ends up not going so well for them. But they have finally, to my eye, and I think by and large, the community agrees, they have finally found the formula that works, right? It works for them. It works great. That style that they employed was great. I'm not saying that they have to, but if they wanted to continue down the path they were to make it not seem like, oh yeah, we were just kind of hedging our bets last time, but no, we're really in there. E3 is where you see where you're going to play the next 12 months of games, and then there'll be a dev direct, many dev directs peppered throughout the year. Some of them showing you details on bigger games, like we're going to see in Starfield, and then maybe another direct of sorts that shows you, hey, this is this code name, this is that code name. These are actual games coming out in 2026 or something. Not necessarily, the 12-month cadence always. There needs to be a venue for that, and I hope there is. But if they are able to create that venue where sometimes you have like a dev direct showing you more details about what you know, E3 showing you the big 12-month roadmap, and then, hey, Compulsion's finally ready to show their game. You sit down with Compulsion, and it's a dev direct specifically about Compulsion in their game. I would be appreciative of that. Talk me down, Dirt. What's up?
This is just my opinion, right? I can obviously be wrong. I
Please.
feel they did the 12-month thing last year because they already have so many unannounced games. I'm sorry, let me take that back. They have so many announced games that's far out. Perfect Dark, Fable, all of these games they have already announced that's still years away. I don't think they wanted to add to that with more
unannounced
games.
stuff.
Yeah, more unannounced stuff that they still don't know exactly how far it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so this year I think they will have a few games that's unannounced because that's not in the 12-month window because Starfield is going to be out. Redfall is coming is like going to be out. We're hearing the rumor that Hellblade might drop second half of next year. Forza will be out next year. So that'll be 4 games in their announced games library list that will be out. So now they can add a few more in there because I just think they had so many last E3, just thinking about it. They didn't want to add another, like, what's Compulsion games? Okay, that's still a couple years away. Then like some more games. So they just wanted to say, okay, let's get some of these games out before we announce some more games because we know they have a lot of games in development. They said, let's get some of these games out. Let's talk about the next 12 months. So in my opinion, I can obviously be wrong. They could come out here at E3 in 2023 and say, yo, we're doing 12-month thing again. I just think they're going to announce some more games.
Would you be upset if they came out and said 12 months again?
Well, it depends on what's in that 12 monts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
See,
I mean,
this is it. Go ahead, please. Yes.
No, I mean, I would prefer them to, I do want to see more future games because they have so much in development. I would like to see 2 to 3 unannounced games this year that might not make the 12-month thing because I can see Hellblade being in 12 months from E3, Avowed, like you said, Everborn, maybe a game like Contraband, possibly, but I would like to see, what Compulsion is working on, what the Coalition is working on, what is id Software working on. like you mentioned about is our machine working on something besides Indiana Jones? I would like to see, answers to those questions. Absolutely.
And what? Don't forget Undead Labs, right?
Like, absolutely, Undead
Labs. Do they have progress?
But see, to my point though, you see these multiple teams from the same studios, right? Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere from a team that's not used to you're not used to them making this kind of game, right? Right. And Phil has already telegraphed that he is more than happy to allow those things to happen. The coalition, the coalition unreleased thing notwithstanding, right? They like them going off and doing something on a beaten path, off the beaten path, smaller team, quicker turnaround, if you will, right? So with them doing that, with more and more of that coming out, I don't know, man. I'd be happy, because I think that whether you like it or not, that 12-month thing set expectations accordingly, right? As long as you do what you say you will do, and you don't become wishy-washy with it, like they said it'd be in the last 12 months. If Starfield hits in June, and even if what do you call it, Forza Motorsport slips, you can excuse that. You can say, hey, it is what it is. That game needed more time, but by and large, they adhered to their goal. They said they'd give you all these in 12 months, and they did. So after that, if they come to the June stage and get again and go, okay, here's the next 12 months. As long as they within that same conference say, oh, and by the way, we have moonshot shows coming for you later in the year. Okay, I'd be cool with the next 12 months.
I have a different take on that. But before I do, I think Gerald Mack has a fantastic idea. You want to read that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The man Gerald Mack once again blessing us with a $5 super chat. He said, would really enjoy some personalized gaming circle podcast emojis. Are you guys working on any of those? How about Everborn game character? Ooh.
I can make that happen. I can get on the phone with the artist now.
And we appreciate you, sir. Like I always say, we're trying to grow this show with you guys. Idea. You tell us what you want, we'll get it. See, I didn't want to just turn the join stuff on just to have it turned on. I wanted to have benefits, have people appreciate, be part of it. So, Gerald, I got you, man. We're going to talk about that in the DMs. That's a great idea. But go ahead, Everborn. What were you going to say?
So for me, I think that E3 should be your moonshot show to get people hype, whether it's CG trailers or whatever it is. Okay. That's your thing to get people hype about your long-term roadmap. And every E3, you strive for that E3 of 2016 kind of thing, where they showed, Horizon and Spider-Man and God of War and all.
That was a great E3 for Sony.
So every E3 you should strive to be PlayStation. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, when you have that much stuff, it hypes people up. Now, as to your 12-month show, we know they're going to have to do multiple shows. So for me, I would say put your 12-month show every January. What to look forward to this year. This is everything you're going to get between January and December. And then you can, so your E3 is kind of forward looking. Okay. Your January show this is what you're getting this year. And then you have your other little smaller shows as your bigger games come out. Well, and that's kind of how you do it, in my opinion.
Right. Or I'm going to say this. I don't know. I always watch a lot of old E3s sometimes. There were a few E3s where Xbox, throughout the show, they would say these are the games that's dropping within the next year or this year. Then I remember Phil Spencer would go on stage, or whoever would go on stage, and say everything that we're about to show is coming in the future for Xbox. And then they will have a show.
Break it up in sections within the same show.
If you watch some E3s, they did that in the past.
Absolutely. Okay.
Which I think, or like, and also remember they like broke it up and said now this is during the 360 days, but I remember them towards the end of the shows, like everything we're about to show is exclusive to the Xbox 360 or exclusive to the Xbox. So I mean, I think there's ways of doing it. I understand what you're saying, Everborn. That makes a lot of sense too, especially since we had the developers direct this year. If they if they want to focus on the whole year or even 6 months, up to June, that would make a lot of sense also. But there's plenty of ways they can do it.
I do think that they need to establish some kind of cadence to set an expectation for people this show is for this type of thing, this show is for that type. So it leaves folks stop wondering. Yeah,
But
Nintendo can get away
12 months ahead in June. You do that in January and say that's what you're getting this year.
No, your idea is sound. I just think that whichever methods they establish, it needs to be established, and you keep that cadence, right? If January is going to be your 12-month look ahead show, make that it, and let us expect that, and go in there knowing what to expect. And then the other shows are what they are, and know what to expect. They're playing the same game that Nintendo and PlayStation play, and to me, they haven't earned that yet. Give me some cycles. Give me a few cycles of just constant releases and quality, and then maybe you can be a bit more wishy-washy and we'll still be with you. But right now, since it's not quite there yet, I think having an established cadence of how you are releasing and when you're releasing would really help them, help the base really understand what they're looking at. A quick aside. I want to talk real quick about Crossfire X being closed, shut down 2 years after its launch. And I'm not talking about Crossfire X specifically. I'm using this as a frame to have a general conversation about us not owning games anymore. Now, Everborn was not on the show last week when this became a real hot button topic. So I want you to tell me your thoughts on this, Everborn. Yes, Crossfire X came. It wasn't that great. It wasn't a thing. I played the campaign for a little bit. It didn't set the world on fire. It was made by Remedy, so I thought it might be worth it. It ended up not being so great, right? And the actual multiplayer was garbage. Let's just be honest about it, right? So this game was not long for the world we know it, right? But it comes. Some people spend money, and now it's gone, right? And a lot of people and take this as just one in a line of many, right? Of games that now everybody's trying to be live service. They come, they take your money. Either they hit and they're Fortnite, or they're not, and all the money that you spent is out. Some of them are pretty good about it, and most of the time they don't. Absolutely, and some of them are pretty good about it. They give you your money back. Most of them do not. Right now, Everborn, I know what you said to me in the DMs when we were having this conversation. Let's talk about it a little bit more. What are your thoughts on the idea that even single-player games, right, even Hogwarts Legacy, one day they'll turn off the server. I'll try to get on this game and it won't work because they'll check de novo or they'll check some kind of service and they'll say, oh yeah, you don't own it or we can't verify it. This game you bought with your hard-earned money is no longer yours.
It's also very, first of all, okay, there's two things to this, right? I'm not a fan of complaining about an issue that you don't know that's going to happen, right?
Okay.
It's they could very easily, if they're saying, okay, for some reason WB Games is just going out of business, which may be a real possibility these days.
Disconnected from the requirements. Yes, true.
Yeah, they can put out a final patch that says, okay, now we're not going to do what do you call it? So
they haven't been doing that so far, though. Let's just be clear. Of all of the 6 or 8 live services that are now going down the tubes, I think one of them did that.
But lives, you asked me about single player games.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Specifically single player games. Yes.
Right. So specifically single player games. There are some right now that are doing these online checks, and this is just to make sure you didn't bootleg the game or whatever.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, sure, right. But in the future, if we get to a place where they're shutting down single player games and you can no longer play a single player game anymore, then I'll have a problem. But I don't think that's an issue right now. Now, in talking about these service games, right? My thing is to expect that a service game doesn't have you want it to be available offline or separated. I just feel like you lost that fight, right?
Well,
you do not. Wait, let me just say this.
Be clear,
I just want to say this.
Let's not mix them up. There are games that require online access, and to say they are offline, that's just not understanding of what you're looking at. I get all that. I'm talking about games that could and should be able to live independently without a net connection. Please continue.
Okay. Again, what's our example of that? But what I'm saying is, we have already lost the fight of owning your games. You don't own them, right? when you buy a game, you're buying a license to that
You're
game.
renting them
And
for
I feel
a
like
time frame.
I feel like the time to complain about this was circa 2013.
Bro, check the Twitter timeline, bro. I was there. I had the flag. Nobody was listening to me. I was out there. I was like, hey, did you see Amazon just accidentally hit the button and disabled a bunch of people's video game and movie purchases? This is a problem, people. Start talking about it. And it went, silence.
Right. So I don't think this is an issue for single player games and multiplayer games. Like,
you don't think it's an issue for single player games? You don't think there will be a world where we will not
give me the examples?
Well, you don't think there's a world where
let's not fearmonger. I need examples.
I'm not fearmongering. You're telling me that we will one day be able to play, let's say, I don't know, Halo Infinite by itself, if they choose, if the servers are offline now, that because unless I contend that unless we are vocal about it, that final patch may never come. We need to be vocal about it. Tell people that we want that. Otherwise, that patch will never come. And one day you will not be able to just play Halo Infinite campaign. It'll be gone. You disagree with that? They will, in and of themselves, go, well, we're done with this thing now. Let's patch it so people can have it. I disagree. I don't see that.
I think that I think the Halo Infinite campaign and I think these single player games will continue to live on. And whether it's by the hook or by the crook, whether it's by emulation and pirating from the community because the company doesn't want to do it. Like, look, Nintendo doesn't want you to have access to their old games, and that has nothing to do with online. But guess what? We got them.
Well, but Nintendo, lucky for
Pirate's
us,
life for some people.
Lucky for us, Nintendo's just not that complex with their work, so you can easily pull it. But you can't do that with Halo Infinite. You just can't. Not possible.
Right. So the thing is, right, and you know, they're saying it in the chat, like, get a PC, right? Playing these games on PC are the answer, because if people don't want something to die, people will keep it up, right? The community will keep it up. And I say this as a person who was hardcore into the Matrix Online,
where Morpheus died,
right? And that's canon, by the way. Yes, it is. And when they shut those servers down, the community kept those going. So you actually had to like illegally jack into the Matrix, which was like
mind blowing.
Exactly, right? So people will keep things that they want available, and some things are just not good, so they don't stay around. Sure, because not enough people care about it. So I just don't think this is an issue.
Okay, let me say this.
Please.
I just feel, this is how I feel. Some things in life we have no control over, right? Like, what is the alternative? They're not making physical media anymore.
Yep. Even what can we do? It's just a code that you're getting.
What can we do?
And that's what I'm saying. The ship sailed once we switched to digital.
What can we do? There's things we can't control. I know there's some guys that love their physical media. They're still making physical video games right now. Not all, because you can't buy Hi-Fi Rush physical. It's the world we're living in. There's just some things we have to accept. If we are watching Netflix, like, man, I love that movie. I would love to own that movie physically. You can't.
Not
you just have no control over it. And I've learned.
Remember Disney Vault?
Oh yeah,
where they would artificially take
things in and out of the vault all the time.
Right. So
I just learned to accept that there's some things we just have no control over, and we can complain, but these companies are going to do what they're going to do.
Yep.
Right. Sometimes we just got to suck it up and move on with our life. You know, I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. Like, I remember a story. Now, this is kind of, you know, it's not the same exact thing, but I would never forget it. I remember when my mom, we had all our church clothes and she took them to the cleaners, right? Right around the corner from my home. We go back to get our clothes a week or two later. This cleaners is shut down. Like, damn, what? They took all our clothes and it messed us up. But I'm saying that to say this. There's some things we have no control over. We had to suck it up. They took our clothes and
we didn't have to go to church that week.
I was saying, so that's just how I feel about it, man. it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, no, I hear y'all.
Bert was like, "Oh no, my church clothes are gone.
Stop it.
I guess we're gonna have to go home."
I was like, "Mom, but that means we don't have to go to church."
Oh, Lord.
This weekend.
Okay, look, I only bring this up because I've heard a lot of back and forth about it in the community. Although I'm definitely with you. I'm the digital guy. I've stopped buying physical media for a long time, but I do hear those who say, like, you know, some people ain't got it like that. Some people don't, you know, maybe they just got out of jail or something. You know, you ain't got it like that. So it is what it is. But I do hear you if you're out there in the community complaining that you wish even your physical media was physical, because let's be honest, you buy that disc does not have that game on it. It does not have that
Facts.
All it
even
has
physical,
is a digital
right?
code that says you will have access to go download the game. The game is not on that disc.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you a question, right?
Speak, yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, the physical disc, right? I know on the front of the cover it says internet required.
Yep.
So when you put your physical disc in your console, you still have to get a patch.
Exactly. Day one patch.
You still have to get a patch.
Yep.
So if you are not connected to the internet, would that game work? No.
Absolutely not. Physical is physical is dead. Is the point.
Yeah, it is, bro. Even when you have physical,
yes.
it doesn't. It's still digital.
You just have a collector's item. You don't have something you can actually play. Absolutely. Yes.
So
yes.
this is the world we're living in. We have no control over certain things, guys. I'm just being real. This is life.
It is absolutely real. It is absolutely real. And I think it's unfortunate, but yes, you guys are true in your statements that there's not much we can actually do about it at this point. But
we
yes,
can do.
You know.
And now I see NG the Atheist says the disc can hold the whole game. I remember back in the PS2, the 360, the original Xbox generation, they would have multiple discs.
Yep.
No, they're not. They said we're making one disc, and you're going to download a big 30-40 gig patch.
Absolutely. You know, and by
they're
and
not
large,
making multiple discs anymore.
Even in those instances, I think the last game that I remember that actually had the game on the disc was like Assassin's Creed, not Brotherhood, but the other one. Like there was one. Unity.
Syndicate?
Yes. Unity.
That was 14?
Yes, it had the game on the disc.
That's
to the
crazy.
point where
I
even
think
when you pop the disc in, it had an unlocked frame rate because they later patched the unlocked frame rate out of it. So if you had that unlocked version, then you have it like on 60 frames because then you have new machines that can play it better. But later on, if you have the digital version, it's just stuck at 30 because they just locked it like that. Yeah? Those benefits are gone. They're like, it's out.
I think instead of putting like a disc inside of these game boxes, they should just put a note that says Santa Claus is dead. And
This dude.
like it's pointless.
Yes. Hey, and to that point, there are rumors that the next Nintendo will be all digital as well. So there goes that with the last holdouts of the physical folks.
There you go. And even if you like, I saw somebody was tripping because was it God of War Ragnarok, the like collector's edition? It came with a digital code, and people was like, no, where's the physical disc? They can't do that anymore because they have an all digital PlayStation 5.
True. Yeah,
They can't give
isn't
them
that the rumor they're
physical
saying?
anymore.
They're saying they're coming out with an external CD drive for the PS5.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? We're regressing at this point. You know?
I'm telling you,
I
but
think
they can't do that anymore.
That's hilarious to me. You're gonna have an external CD drive for games that's not even printed on the disc.
Makes no sense.
Well, because they're trying to do away with the two SKUs. They just want one straight.
Oh
SKU,
no! Listen. The next Xbox and PlayStation are gonna be all digital. You can forget about those DVD drives.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
If
absolutely.
there's anybody who's gonna put R&D into the waste that is a physical, it's probably Xbox. They'll give you a disc drive that you'll never use. They will. They probably will.
I haven't
It's
used
over.
my
Can't
disc
wait to
drive
get rid of it.
once.
You
Since
haven't?
I have my Xbox Series X, I haven't used my disc drive once.
Listen, hey, Dirt. I haven't used the disc drive since 2013 when they went all digital.
Oh wow, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I went all digital in 2017, but you said 2013.
Yeah.
You know why? Because in the 360 years, I had young kids that had a habit of scratching discs.
Oh boy.
And as soon
Oh,
as they
yeah.
was like all digital,
yeah.
I was that's it.
Yep,
That's
yep,
it.
yep.
You're right, bro.
Only disc I still have, and it was in my drive. Well, the last one was Halo Master Chief Collection that lived on my Xbox. Like never took the disc out. This one, Series X generation, believe it or not, Cyberpunk. In there, stays in there, Never take it out.
It's still in there right now?
It's still in there right now. but it gets updated like it's digital. It's all digital, right? It's just like a digital game, right? But that's the only game that's actually on the disc that I actually
Fun fact, Breath of the Wild is the only physical game I ever bought on the Switch.
See, there we go.
And that's just because I was there like day one. And I wanted to have, anyway.
Shout out to Dave Ramos with the $2 super chat saying we are so on point with the physical versus digital discussion. We appreciate you here, like for that.
Wait, which one of us is on point? Because Kay wants to keep the physical around forever.
It's not that I want to keep
Dirt
physical.
is living in the future.
Listen, hear me clearly. It's not that I want to keep physical. I want the people to basically vocalize the fact that once you're done with it, whether it be a console or a digital game, give it to the people, because the people deserve to have it. If it's digital, let it be digital. If a game where you connect to a server and you play multiplayer is no longer accessible, no longer playable, and you're turning it off, enable the peer-to-peer and let it loose. It can still be digital. You can still keep your stuff.
Let me say this, Kay.
I'm listening.
Remember years back when the iPhone just took out the headphone jack?
Yep.
They just did it.
Yep.
People tried to complain. People tried to woof about it.
Well, there are still places you can go and get a headphone jack.
Hey, Kay, I don't know if you remember this. One word.
What?
Courage.
Oh God. Don't even start that. That is why I was upset. That is why. Don't even bring the headphone jack back. They had the courage. Get the hell out of here with all. You're gonna make me get demonetized with all this.
All I'm saying is that there's things we just have no control over.
Yeah. Oh no. Most definitely. Absolutely.
Shout out to Stage Blow in the chat.
Stage Black in the chat with a $2 super chat saying interesting conversation, well worth the listen. I appreciate it, sir. Look. No points.
We gotta get him
here.
on one of these days, by the way.
Yeah. Absolutely. The DMs are open, sir. Let's have a conversation. Look, I don't disagree with the points being made. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, there are ways to mitigate this, and as long as we leave it to them, you will always be a whale that spends all your money in these digital games, and then they'll just be like, "Peace out." Right? That's just what they'll do, right? But there's ways of mitigating it if people pay attention. But on the point of ways of mitigating it, just another side note for me, letting y'all folks know that there's this thing called Zinnia that's out there that is so powerful that even if you are missing your 007, that 007 that came out, the people are like, oh, we wanted the one that had Unreal Engine 3. Yeah, you can kind of do that by yourself on the Xbox now, and you don't even have to hack it. This thing is just amazing. It's out there. You can just install it yourself. And then you can unlock the potential of backward compatibility even beyond what the companies themselves allow you to do. So there's always that. And it's not complicated like, oh, you got to get in the background and do all this stuff. This is actually quite unusually straightforward. And it really, really gives you any 360 game that you wanted to play, even ones that, shout out to me trying to get my Jet Set Future on. This may be how I'll be able to accomplish things like that. But okay, so let me ask folks. We have 117 folks in here. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. We out here giving you very, very interesting conversation, because these are the things that we should be talking about. These are the things that should have taken up the attention in the room instead of what we're about to talk about, which is the big story of the week, the year that's been seemingly animating us for so damn long. But before I get there, we have once again the man Gerald Mack dropping a $2 super chat. We appreciate you, sir, saying, me too, I want to be on the show. Brother, the DMs are open. We're going to be talking, sir. I see him. He's getting his stuff ready. I don't know if you've been paying attention to him on the DM. He got his camera now. He got his mic set up. He asked me for recommendations for a good chair a couple days ago. The man is ready to jump in the waters. We here for you, sir. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. But okay.
We ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, why not? We ain't doing nothing. Let's just jump on the podcast. Absolutely. But okay. So thank you guys so much for being here, but we all know why you're here. Y'all want to have that conversation. Y'all here for the smoke. So Mr. EverbornSaga, I know you spend time pouring through these documents, even though this week must have been a busy week for you because there were a lot of documents to pour through. Let's start from just the very top. There were interviews from Bobby K, Lulu Chang's out there dropping the freaking bombs left and right, but I will start this conversation with this first almost clickbaity headline. and it's basically saying that Microsoft acquisition of Activision is in peril after the UK regulators warns of harm to gamers. Question is, gamers, which gamers are we talking about? Let's get this thing started. Everborn, you read what happened here in the news, right? They finally put their statements of objections out, right? They put it out. The CMA did, and now obviously we're waiting for Microsoft's response. What was your first take when you first saw this stuff? We were 7:00 calls in the morning, emotional roller coasters by some in the community. What are your thoughts, man?
So I think the problem here is people don't read, right? But separately, and if they did read, they stopped reading after paragraph 2, right? In no headline do they mention, hey, divestiture was one option, but another option was the 10-year deals or a behavioral.
Real quick, when you say divestiture, you mean separate Call of Duty as an entity from the company?
Yes, they gave them several options. They said you could sell off Call of Duty and its business, which would include the studios that make it. I think under that option, you still keep the IPs, right? Or you could sell off all of Activision. Or you could sell off Activision and Blizzard. We don't care about King. We know that's where the money comes from. You want money. You said this was about mobile. So that's one way to do it. And the other structural behavior is you just don't do it, right? That's when they say prohibition. So those were options 1 and 2. Option 3 is behavioral, right? And when they talked about these behavioral remedies, they said that we will also consider an access behavioral remedy, right?
Okay.
And access, and they went out to explain it.
Yeah.
They went out to explain it, and they said an access remedy would be ensuring there's no harm to competitors by allowing them access, third-party competitors access to the game. That sounds a lot like what Microsoft has been saying since they first announced the deal, which is 3-year deal and then 10-year deal.
Right.
And Nintendo has signed it, and Steam says we don't even need it because we trust them. And there's one outlier, which is who, right? So
Voldemort,
the only other thing the CMA said is that for us to consider this as the only option, it would have to meet some criteria that they set out in paragraph 15. And I can read that if you want.
Sure.
Because maybe it's important for people to hear it. So this is paragraph 15. It says behavioral remedies are designed to address an SLC, which is a substantial lessening of competition, and or its adverse effects by regulating the ongoing conduct of parties following the merger. The CMA will generally only use behavioral remedies as a primary source of remedial action where divestiture and or prohibition is not feasible or the relevant costs of any feasible structural remedy far exceed the scale of the adverse effects of the SLC. That's A, so they'll consider it under that scenario. They said also B, the SLC is expected to have a short duration, or C, the behavioral measures will preserve substantial relevant consumer benefits, RCBs, that would be largely removed by a structural remedy, right? So those are the circumstances, right?
Okay.
And then they say, Microsoft has, however, informed us of existing and potential contractual arrangements with third-party platforms relating to access to Call of Duty. Accordingly, while none of the circumstances in which the CMA would select a behavioral remedy as the primary source of remedial action in the merger investigation, as summarized in paragraph 15 above, that's the one I just read to you, appear to be present, the CMA will also consider behavioral access remedies as a possible remedy.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So as of now, they're saying it
with something else.
Right. Right. So what that actually means is those three things, we don't think you meet that, but you have to meet that in order for us to only consider behavioral remedies, right? Now, Microsoft can very easily explain how Activision cannot survive on its own. And if it did, if it was separated, someone didn't have the revenue coming in from King and Blizzard, they couldn't afford to release Call of Duty every year.
They
and hence
put all those studios to that salt mine that is Call of Duty. Couldn't happen. Yeah.
And because it's like $200 and whatever million a year plus marketing plus all that, right? So under that scenario, if you break off Activision,
you're killing
the
Activision,
consumer
basically.
would get a degraded product because you won't get the release cadence. It could change, right? That's the other thing. And then they talked about the RCBs. An RCB, or a relevant consumer benefit, is the fact that absent this deal, the game would not be in Game Pass, and they have noted that the gamers having another option to buy games is a benefit.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So these are the things that Microsoft will try to explain.
A little bit of salt. They did.
We'll come to that in a second. But the point is, they will consider these access remedies. Microsoft can try to convince them that they do fall under the categories that are listed in paragraph 15. And if they can't, they can consider behavioral remedies along with structural remedies. Now, they don't have to be the structural remedies listed. Microsoft could say, guess what? In the UK, we will sell the publishing rights. So someone else will publish the game in the UK specifically, and Microsoft will still develop it. They'll still retain the studios and the IP and the talent, and most importantly, the data. And then the third party will be responsible for working out those deals. Right? And we've seen this before. We see it all the time. If you look at The Witcher 3, who published The Witcher 3 in the US versus who published it in Europe?
Cyberpunk, MLB The Show.
Right.
There's many instances of it being published by someone else who did not make it. Yeah.
So these are the possible things that they can do, but they would not have listed that as a remedy if they wanted to block it. If they were going to block it, they would have just prohibited it.
That's right. It would just been
right.
These are your options. And that's it.
They laid out the means by which Microsoft could appease them, and they literally said, you can show us an access remedy. What has Microsoft been saying from day one? We're going to give it to everybody.
Yeah,
we've signed deals with Nintendo. We're going to keep it on Steam. We might even give it to Nvidia if they don't shut up. Right?
if they shut their mouths and just open their hands, we'll give it to them. Absolutely. Real quick, on the point that you're making, Jigga J in the chat, thank you, sir, with a $5 super chat saying, love how CMA said they could force. Love how CMA said Xbox could force players to buy an expensive console or PC to play cloud gaming. Shaking my head. Absolutely.
Right.
What's up, Jigga J?
What's going on, Jigga?
Oh, and he says Sonic rules. You know what?
Go ahead.
So the point is, Microsoft from the very beginning said this would take 18 months.
They did.
Right?
They did.
And if it was going to take 18 months, that means they knew they would be in a phase 2. They knew there would be in-depth investigations. They knew things would be pushed back, which means they knew they would be right here.
Right.
And where we are right now is Microsoft is in court in the US right now in front of a judge, and the judge is seeing Sony doesn't want to give up documents, right? So they're in a position to negotiate in the US. They now have the statement of objections from the EU, and now they have the preliminary findings from the CMA. So guess what they have? Everything that everyone wants. And now, between now and the end of next month is when all the negotiations happen. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the whole deal comes together.
The beginning of the end, if you will.
And like you said in the beginning, right? And if Microsoft has been saying from day one, we're going to offer this thing and we'll put it in writing.
What's the first thing Phil
And now
Spencer
that's
said after that deal was announced? The first thing he tweeted. Concessions.
Because
he did
you
that
hire
day
the
one.
most expensive lawyers in the world, and they will tell you exactly what the regulators are looking for, and they'll give you a realistic time frame. And guess what? This was exactly what the regulators were looking for, and now they have a realistic time frame. And why wouldn't the CMA mention this would be easier for us all if you just divested?
Yeah,
if
they don't know the business that well, so they don't know.
No,
what
it has
entails.
nothing to do with them not knowing the business. It would be easier for everybody if they divested, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, but
and that's why there are other options.
The point I'm making is, in this specific instance, divesting that product is basically killing that product. So they do not they don't have a full understanding of, hey, COD can't stand on its own.
And that is what the next 3 or 4 weeks are for.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So this is the thing. No one read the other options. No one reported it, because that's not as sexy as a headline as Microsoft would have to sell off Call of Duty. And so now that dominated the whole conversation by people who didn't read the document. So I'm just saying...
Gunfire. We agree with you on that. He says we need Hogue back. Absolutely, good sir. Absolutely. We are counting the days till he gives us one of his 18-hour tirades on the subject. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do. So Darth Kermit says something, and I want to be very clear here. Sony is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. In fact, they're doing what I would do, or any of you that had that responsibility. You're not going to hand somebody the knife to stab you in the back.
Nope.
Right? So Jim Ryan, if he's successful, deserves a raise.
Bro, even if he's not successful, he deserves a raise now.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
done
playing this. He played his cards to a T to keep everybody on their toes and giving the regulators exactly what they needed. Right.
Yeah.
So Sony, yeah, they're crying, yeah, they're lying, yeah, they got lawyers all over the world, they're tap dancing, but that's what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
So let's not get that twisted. I may think the deal should go through. I may think the deal will go through, but Sony's still doing what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
As they should.
Dirt.
And it's up to Microsoft to convince the regulators that they're full of you know what.
What is your top of the line thoughts? You know, you bleed green, sir. I'm sure you've been following a lot of these things. What happened? Like this came out from your community. How are people feeling about it? Are they still confident? Are people like, disappointed? Where you at with it?
No. People are still confident about the deal. A lot of people, I guess, on my side, in the bot community.
Stop it. Stop.
I guess a lot of people are kind of disappointed or upset at Sony. But like you guys said, they're doing what they have to do to try to stop this deal to get done. I guess where the frustration is coming from me and like some other guys over there, Xbox has been lackluster as far as their first party output, like since the second half of the Xbox One generation, pretty much since 2016. Xbox had to rebuild. They're trying to rebuild. They're this is the first time I can say Microsoft is 100% behind Xbox. And the frustration is now, Xbox has no games. Xbox has this. Xbox has no studios. Will Xbox compete? Can Xbox act like the $1 trillion company that they are? And when they're trying to do that, they don't want them to do that. So, I mean, I understand, like you guys said, from PlayStation's point of view. But it's just funny to me that the same people that want Xbox to compete, now they don't want them to compete. They don't want them to be Xbox, be Microsoft. They don't want them to
not
be
like
that
this,
anymore.
sir.
No,
not like this.
They don't like it.
Put your wallet away. Play the PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. But like a guy like me, I have receipts of people saying, "Yo, Xbox, why don't y'all put up a fight? Why don't y'all put up a fight? Do something. Y'all getting y'all butt kicks. Put up a fight. Y'all are one of the richest companies in the world. Act like it." Okay.
Now they act like it.
They act like it. They don't like it. Oh, wait a minute. Not like this. But like this deal. But back to what you said, I think EverbornSaga pretty much laid everything out.
The man knows what he's talking about. The man
yeah, actually way better than I can ever explain it. So I do believe this deal will go through. Just from hearing people that know more about this type of stuff than me, because I don't know a damn thing about it. I'm just the outside looking in, listening to guys like you know, Michael Pachter, Whole Law, guys like that. So I'm just sitting back, and at the point now, all we can do as fans, sit back and watch and read and just wait. And this, it's crazy. It's been over a year now, because I remember when it first happened, like, wow, January of 2022. So now here we are, February 2023, and it's been over a year. So
feels like a million years ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels so long ago. But like you said, this next month is going to be very interesting. And I'm here to see what's going to happen. If I believe the deal will go through. If it doesn't, life goes on. But I'm here for it, bro.
Victor Allenstein's in here with a $5
He has
super
a
chat.
great point.
Thank you, Victor, for being here. Divestiture does not stop Xbox from foreclosing, just like Sony has foreclosed from Final Fantasy on Xbox, yet not owning the IP. Only option is to sign an agreement. Absolutely true. Absolutely, because they obviously have way more resources to foreclose if they so choose. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to the point of confidence in the environment. I put a poll up some days ago. I think February 8th, right when we heard this news and the emotional roller coaster was all on Twitter. Right, I put this poll up saying, "Hey gamers, so with the latest ABK news, what are your confidence level?" And the choices were still very confident, 50-50, or the deal is lost. After about 1,700 votes, we have basically 65% saying still very confident. 25% saying 50-50, and 11% by that math saying that the deal is lost. So it seems like the community, by and large, even though there's still a lot of consternation and people are a little wishy-washy, a little crying a little bit, it seems like by and large the community is still on that same page.
You know what?
Go ahead, Everborn. Yeah.
And because we have dirt here, this is actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a little while. I feel like the Xbox community sometimes got to stop crying. I feel like we fall for every piece of negative news, and the default reaction is, oh, the sky is falling, right? A lot of people that were super sure the deal's going to go through, every time some news come by, oh, the deal's going to fail. Every time somebody says, oh, there's trouble at a studio, oh, what are you doing, Xbox? Everybody's like, oh, you're not marketing the games properly. And then Hi-Fi Rush comes out and shuts things down shuts other games down that people were crying about for 2 years, right? Oh, where's all the games at? Well, did you play High on Life in December? Right? Because that was close to #1 on the charts. So my point is, Xbox community, stop falling for the okie doke, right? You said that the fight was fixed. You said Sony got control of the media, but maybe Sony has control over you too. Because every piece of bad news that comes up, you just right there going along with it, trying to show that you're neutral and doing all of that, and you just start crying and all of this. So what I say to you as an Xbox fan, stop crying.
Hey, listen.
Right?
Let me tell you something right now. EverbornSaga, if I had a clip of like people clapping out, you are speaking facts right now. Listen, man, I'm not saying Xbox is flawless. I'm not saying they can't be criticized, because they do deserve criticism. But sometimes people
He's just saying stop crying.
Oh my God. Like, okay. When Xbox didn't show up at the VGAs, okay, I wanted them there. Yeah, true. But they didn't show up, right? That's their decision. They were not obligated to have something shown.
And in hindsight, you knew why. In hindsight, they had something planned for you. But yes.
Yeah, but people just lost their mind about it. And then literally 1 month later, they have their own show and they shadow drops Hi-Fi Rush.
No, but hold on. Right after they dropped shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, then an article came out, Microsoft cuts its marketing budgets. And then everybody starts crying again, like you're not playing the hottest game out right now.
Right.
Like they didn't take the whole media by storm with the shadow drop.
Yeah.
So
Man.
what you're saying, Everborn, is instead of saying this episode title was the beginning of the end, it should have been Xbox Stop Crying. Xbox Gamers Stop Crying.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it should have been. Okay.
Yeah, man. Listen, I agree with everything you just said, Everborn, and we've talked about it on my show. Of course, it's much more raunchy, a lot more swearing. But we've talked about that. Like I said, they deserve to be criticized. I'm not saying they shouldn't be criticized, but some guys they try to play the neutral card, right? That's why with my podcast, with WBG, my boy Sean podcast, TTS, which of course means Talk Stat.
Yes.
We let it be known. We are 100% Xbox fans. We're not trying to play neutral. Actually, we don't even want PlayStation fanboys in our chats.
Ooh.
And that's
some hardcore.
Listen, we don't want
there,
your
player.
super chats. We don't want you to subscribe. We don't want you around. And that's just how I feel.
Okay.
Because what happens, they kind of make everything negative that shouldn't be negative, right? Like I said, even the thing with the VGAs, that one really kind of ticked me off because I saw people going crazy. I know Xbox was there the previous 3 years. Yeah, they were not obligated to be there. Phil Spencer was there, but you can tell Phil didn't want to be there in the first place. You could look at his face. And I'm like, guys, this Xbox had to rebuild, right?
Yep.
Now, they just didn't have any games in development the second half of last generation, not named Halo, Gears, and Forza, right? They had, like State of Decay, those smaller games. But they had to rebuild. They're doing that. They've shown us a roadmap. They've invested in studios. They're investing in publishers. This stuff, unfortunately, takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see people just constantly complain, I'm like, oh my God. Like, these people can't be happy. And that's when I learned you cannot make everyone happy. So Xbox says, do what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Drop the games when they're ready. And that's all you can do at this point. So I agree with you, Everborn.
It's also not about, saying what you feel. And if you don't like something, obviously. I'm just talking about and it's the same people. They're just out there either crying or trying to prove to people who are never going to listen to them anyway that they're neutral. So that's what we're specifically talking about. We're not saying like, oh, everybody's doing everything right or whatever, but like at every turn you got to react like anyway.
I agree.
The other thing is I don't even know why I brought that. Well, it's because you were here and I always talk about that offline.
Yes, sir. Let me get Dan's super chat real quick. Thank you so much, Dan the Man Cunningham. Always love that name. He's out here saying, greetings, gentlemen. Well, with a $5 super chat, I should say. He's out here saying, greetings, gentlemen. I believe Jez Corden said it best about the CMA deal being corrupt. The deal smells of it.
So my thing with that is, I don't know. Like, I feel like you have to let the process play out and let everybody do their jobs. Because will we say they're corrupt if the deal goes through?
No, of course not.
Right? So it's like we believe the numbers now.
I agree with you. We got to. I agree with what you said. We got to let the deal. Just let everything work itself off. Like you said, Everborn. Microsoft themselves, when they first announced this deal, they said we expect it to be closed by June of 2023. Mm-hmm. That is 18 months.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question, Dirt. Is it June yet?
Absolutely not.
It's not June.
February.
I would have thought.
Not they just getting dirty over here with slanderous. Okay.
No, you're right, though, bro. You're right. You're right, man.
Okay, so on the same topic, Lulu Chang. You've heard her speak. She's out there. Yeah. She is in the trenches. She is TTS all the way. Like, she's just doing it, right? Am I wrong? And I think we're all here for it, man. I hear she's even sliding in people's DMs, having real conversations with people in the community.
Oh, wow.
You reach out to her, she'll reach out to you. For real, like, she is out there playing the Twitter streets the way they need to be played. Everborn, have you spoken to Lulu? Because it seems she's speaking to people.
I have not spoken to Lulu, and there are a lot of people that are upset that people are speaking to Lulu, and these are usually people who happen to be against the Activision deal, but that's correlation, causation, who knows?
Absolutely.
But people say that, how could you be championing Lulu when she was helping them to union bust, and you say you want this deal to go through because of the workers and the unions? And so, it is what it is. I do like to see the corporate mudslinging, so I'm all the way here for it.
Yep.
I haven't spoken to her personally, but I think somebody has to call it like it is. Like, the truth is the truth, whoever it's coming from.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, so you because somebody said something that you don't like, you're not entitled to your own facts. So I've always seen it as, it doesn't matter who's telling the truth as long as it's true. And so what I've seen from her tweets lately, it seems like
people have been having issues.
She's saying what we're thinking,
not the truth, but the way she's spitting them truths, man.
Yeah.
She's spitting them truths in a way.
She's
man.
spitting. She's spitting out there, bro.
Oh no, she hurt a lot of people's feelings with the Last of Us tweet.
You could put 16. You could put a nice 16-bar beat behind the way she's spitting these days,
bro. She's
man.
spitting bars.
You know what I'm saying? And I think some people are like, well, this is not how you should be talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you by any chance catch this interview by her from Axios?
I did. And the best part of that, if you scroll down, well, I mean, we'll talk about it, but
yeah.
They said, "Are you not worried about upsetting Sony?"
Are you not?
And she said,
about
"Was
pissing
Sony
them off?
upsetting us?"
Yeah,
facts. She did.
Said, talk.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
She said Sony's trying to block this deal that we want. I'm like paraphrasing here, but she said they're trying to block this deal that we want. You think I care about upsetting them? And she's, hey, bro, I love it.
Here you go. Basically, they asked her the question that is she not worried that she's gonna upset Sony and the partnership they have, and they said we're partners with them. She said were they worried about pissing us off when they tried to kill a really good deal?
She said, "Call an ambulance, but not for me."
Right.
you know what I'm saying? They're making the case for what's best for their business. That is the clincher. What we've been saying. I still think come hell or high water, when this is all said and done, somebody needs to create a Mount Rushmore of snitches. I said this to Everborn in the DMs. If you've seen the Dave Chappelle skit where there's the Hater of the Year award where they come with the pimp walk, yo, somebody needs to meme like Jim Ryan's face on it and have all the girls next to him, because that man deserves the award. He has accomplished the task at hand. We need to respect him for his level of gangster, because he almost took down Goliath with a rock. And that rock being full of lies and whatnot, but still, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So
it's funny.
This is something I noticed this week, and it must be by design.
Yeah.
You cannot throw a rock without hitting a news organization that Bobby Kotick has not gone to this week.
Wonderful that you bring that up, sir. Yes, continue. Yes.
It seems like Satya's out there talking about the deal, and Bobby K is out there to talk about the deal.
And where is Phil Spencer?
And Phil Spencer is in witness protection. Where's Phil Spencer? What does it mean that they got Bobby out there being
because
the
when I say it's because when the gloves come off, you don't want Phil TTSing. He's not that guy. You want somebody else. He's good cop. They now need to bring bad cop out. That's my thought. I feel like it'll tarnish his Kumbaya brand that he has cultivated for so many years, and he's good at that, right? He's good at bringing people together, but that's not where we are right now. We need to, as it's saying, TTS, right?
TTS,
and that's Lulu. That is Mr. Bobby K over here talking about Death Valley versus Silicon Valley. You know what I mean? I don't think those words will come out of Phil Spencer's mouth as easily. Am I wrong in that?
No, I agree with you. I don't think Phil, like you said, Phil's image. We don't expect him to come out there like, yeah, it's about to. Like y'all want some smoke, He doesn't.
We here for it.
Yeah, we here for the smoke. But but Bobby's out there talking.
Bobby said, "I stand on business."
Hey, Bobby
Let's
out
go.
there talking, man. Lulu out there talking. I love it, man. I love it. Because, I mean, look, bro, this is a big deal to them. Obviously, Activision Blizzard wants to be acquired. And Sony is trying to stop that. So they're looking at Sony like, really? This is what y'all trying to do? Okay. We'll remember. We'll never forget what y'all did. Trying to do. So, yeah, I like it, man.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When this thing first started, there were folks in the community and folks that pay attention to stuff that were saying that they should be cautious because of the words they're using could upset certain regulatory bodies, or they're kind of skewing it in a way of almost an insult or whatever, or they're being a little too brash. But that's $70 billion on the table, bro. Like at this point, I'm just like, gloves come off. Say what you gotta say, because it doesn't seem like anything you're saying will or won't move the needle one way or another. They will still dig through the details and do what they need to do. So if that's what you need to get your bars off, maybe you just do that and leave Phil in the background saying, and say this. I bet you he's in the background going, and say that, because he can't say that. Go ahead.
What's interesting, right, is they did another interview where he said, in the unlikely event that the deal doesn't go through,
Bobby K, you mean?
Bobby K is definitely staying around. Yep. Like they said it as almost as like it was a threat.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't pass this.
That's how it seemed like, right?
Yep.
Like a threat.
And the crazy thing is, this would personally cost him hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
What does an Activision look like? Although I think the board will boot him out of there if this deal doesn't go through. But it would be interesting to see what an Activision looks like where you cost Bobby hundreds of millions of dollars. And what
same Bobby, the same Bobby that has presided over years and years and years of PlayStation and Sony SIE getting preferential treatment because of the contracts and this and that. Same one who was there for that. Now you taking that much money out of his pocket. Everborn, you and I have sat on this air and have these conversations before and said, what does it look like if Ryan is able to kibosh the deal? Will it be BAU, or will some people be hurt by this, or some people have issues? I don't know, man. With all the words,
well, let me tell you how this would play out. I can tell you how that would play out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one, if the deal fails, I think the board votes Bobby out. That's
sure, but that's not an immediate thing,
right?
That's not an immediate thing. There's a process.
Right. Well, so
he'll be here.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Right. The thing is, if the deal fails, the first thing they're going to need to do, because it'll be chaos, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And I spoke about this before.
Oh yeah.
If you're paying attention to the market, it's generally down nearly 30% across the board. That's Microsoft, Google, everybody. We've seen what happened to the stock of Ubisoft, right? So everybody's down 30% since this time last year, or near 30%. And Activision is up something like 10%. They're not the $95 a share.
Yeah.
But there's people in that stock as an arbitrage play, meaning you're going to be sold. I'm going to buy some stock so I can get some money on the upside.
And it's confidence in Microsoft.
Warren Buffett,
yes,
to be specific, right? So the stock is hovering around $75 a share right now, which means it has gone up since the deal was announced. So if the deal fails, I think there's a correction in the market, and then which means the stock will take a massive hit.
Yep.
Right. And the first thing that they're going to need to do for their shareholders, yes, they're going to get $3 billion. The first thing they're going to need to do is show them that there's a steady hand at the wheel, and we need to go back to keeping things normal. So I think they are going to have no choice but to deal with Sony, because on top of losing the white whale Microsoft money, you're going to now cut PlayStation off. I don't think that happens. So they may not like them, but they're going to have to deal with them.
One moment. If I'm not mistaken, we have the man Luke Steele in the chat. Fantastic. Appreciate you for being here, sir. For those who don't know, Luke, a lawyer in his own right, M&A lawyer, came on Boom Show, had some very interesting knowledge for us while we were talking about all the deliberations. He's in the chat right now saying Bobby would need to act on his best, in his best interest of the company, it's his duty as the director. So unless he wants to breach, that's like continuing to act like how he has been done historically, Sony. So
isn't that what I just said?
Being BAU. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I'm appreciating the fact that he is here. If y'all haven't checked out, and of course he's also a great gamer in his own right. Him and the Indie Gamer have a great show that they do, and they check out indie games. So if you haven't followed Luke Steele, you definitely should be, and we appreciate all the great information you provide us. One more thing before we continue. Dave Ramos also in here with a $2 super chat. Appreciate you, sir. He says Sony's strategy isn't free, even if they succeed. That is a good point. That's what I think. That's the salient point that I was talking about here. What happens after all this is said and done? Whether they succeed or they don't, how's their relationship with Microsoft and Sony and Activision moving forward? Go ahead. Evan.
Right, and this was the point sort of that I was trying to make, which was Sony is doing this because it doesn't matter, right? If Microsoft wins the deal, they lose the marketing rights, right? They may still have access to the game, but they don't have that. Yep, if they piss off Activision, but they get the deal blocked, Activision will have to continue to do business with them, and they know it. So there's really no risk there. Yep. And will Microsoft, on top of having to pay $3 billion to Activision for the deal not going through, will Microsoft also then pay Activision whatever many billions or millions it will cost for the marketing rights? And I think the bet is they won't. They won't outbid Sony for that. And, you also have to think, even if you paid for the marketing rights, is that going to make up for the money that they would be making from Sony? I don't know, right? I think they just feel like there's no risk. And again, it's not show friends. They don't have to be friends with Activision, but they're going to, they're handcuffed to that dead hooker, as I like to say.
But still though, although everything you're saying I don't disagree with, you do also understand that Bobby's out here not really, based on his own words, he's not necessarily speaking from a strategic well, yes, definitely strategic, but you can tell there's emotion there as well. If they ruin this deal,
they're going to cost him hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what the emotion is personally.
Yes, and how will that manifest? How will that manifest in the market? Because I don't think you go BAU and everything's back to normal with that big a hole in your pocket and that much blood spilled, so to speak.
It would never be back to normal losing that type of money.
Yeah, so that's my question, And Beast Mode 10 is over here saying he does not agree with you, Everborn, and Beast Mode is out here. He's a man of information.
That's fine.
Continue.
A lot of people don't agree with me. Pixel also says, what do I think MS is going to do? They need content for Game Pass. There's a lot of places to get content.
Hey,
and
man,
I don't think Microsoft is going to spend the billions it would cost to put, not Embracer, please God, no.
I say that for Everborn's
I don't think they're going to spend the billions of dollars it would cost to put COD in Game Pass if this deal doesn't go through, right?
The back catalog, possibly. There's a lot of Activision back catalog that is very much content, because that's what we stand to gain day one. Back catalog, right? All the various back, and not just COD back catalog, Activision back catalog. That's a pretty extensive library, right? That Activision themselves have kind of like pushed to the side because they are the Call of Duty machine these days.
But see, people are saying Microsoft should do things out of spite, like Victor Alice. Well, he didn't use the words out of spite, but it's effectively out of spite.
It's effectively out of spite. Yeah.
Right? Why should they spend that many billions out of spite when they could do other things with that money to get content in the service?
Sure.
You're going to do that for one game when you don't own it?
I honestly think there's a middle ground here, right? There will be some spiteful moves, but they won't be outwardly spiteful. I think we're telling ourselves that they're going to do these spiteful things because we would want some vengeance for Sony doing this move. But that's not where I'm coming necessarily going to play out. That's not where I'm coming at with it, though. Like, we're still talking about people at the end of the day, and there's $70 billion on the line. And I'm not even talking about Microsoft necessarily. I'm more still in the Activision Blizzard camp, where you would then have to pick up the pieces of your company and potentially attempt to move forward, all the while being tied to this company that has ruined your dreams, if as it were, and you're still going to have to treat them as tip of the spear as far as marketing and all of that. Honestly, I even though I agree with you wholeheartedly, Everborn, that people keep thinking about that spiteful stuff because they can't think beyond themselves. I know what I would do. That's not how this works. I get that.
I would do it too. Listen, if it was me,
yes.
If it was me, what I would do is I would spend a couple of billion to keep it exclusive for like 2 years, and then show the regulators, look, Sony's still alive, so they didn't need this. And
Spend
then go
R
buy
in the
them
chat
again.
is saying
That's what I would do.
Stop being
but
a
I'm
pony,
not running a
Everborn.
$2 trillion company.
No,
right?
I hear
can't
you.
really listen to what I would do.
No, but that's my point, right? I think that you're absolutely right in that people are having a hard time thinking beyond their own emotions. So they can't understand the concept of somebody doing you that way and then you not retaliating. I completely get that. But that's not how business is done. I do agree with you on that point. But to say that it would be BAU and that's business as usual, like just standard BAU and everybody would be fine and there'd be no background, behind the curtain, back and forth, I think that may be too much of a cursory, like a high level reading of the situation. There will be some
what
dirt.
Dirt has to say about this, by the way.
Please, Dirt. Yes. Get involved.
Look,
Just
man,
get
I'm
involved.
just,
Go ahead.
listen, brother. I'm just listening to you guys. This is a topic, man. This topic, we've been talking about it forever. But
Forever, absolutely.
I feel that, like Everborn said, if this deal hypothetically it didn't go through,
Sega. And
yes,
Here
I
we
think
go again.
that's how you get content in the service.
Yeah. A game that did not succeed
Watch your mouth.
to get you your bet.
Let the man
We'll
Dirt
talk about it. Go ahead, Dirt. Go ahead.
I think that what Everborn said was true. I think that Activision Blizzard, they would still have to do business with PlayStation. They couldn't say, "Oh, you press this off, we're gonna lose millions of dollars per year because we're mad at you." No, they're still gonna have to do business with PlayStation. PlayStation knows that. PlayStation is just like, we want this deal not to go through so bad. We are willing to sacrifice our relationship. Meaning, yes, we might not be as friendly as we once were, but we don't want this deal to go through that bad. They're sacrificing everything. They don't care. And that's something that makes me look at Sony a little different. Like, I understand what you guys said there. Like, they're doing what they have to do to stop this deal. But also think about the whole thing. Microsoft subpoenaed them. They said, nah, not yet. And they did it again. And they don't want to show these records. They don't want to show anything. It's like, what are you guys? How are they letting PlayStation? I mean, how is people letting PlayStation get away with this? Like, it just makes me look at them differently. Like,
there are no cops out there, man. Nobody's looking. They're not. It is in their best interest to keep them cops away. Nobody pays attention to this market, so they get to run-ish like whatever they want to do. And you, Microsoft, brought yourself to this chopping block by wanting to buy somebody. And now Sony gets to be like, "Woe is me," you know what I mean?
But it's crazy. But Kay, it's crazy to me. They're saying, taking Call of Duty away will hurt us. First of all, Xbox offered 10 years, right? They're saying taking away will hurt us. Okay, so everybody's saying prove it. What? Prove it.
Don't want to
show us how it's gonna hurt you guys, and they don't. And they have. I don't know. It's just crazy to me at this point, man. I'm just sitting back like, wow, So I don't really even have much to say about this anymore at this point, man. This is. I understand you guys said PlayStation is doing what they're supposed to do as a business. They, because it's deal, but.
So I have one last question, and then we'll kibosh.
That doesn't make what they're doing not trash.
No. Yes.
Right.
We're just explaining. Doesn't mean that we agree. Absolutely.
I got you. Because it's definitely trash.
Like, you still gonna get this work. I understand you doing what you got to do.
Right. Okay. Because I'm looking like, man, I lost a lot of respect for PlayStation. Like,
I think a lot the gaming environment will lose a lot of respect for PlayStation for the moves they're making in order to do this deal. I'm 100% with you on that, Dirt. I have one last question that is related to this before we call it for the day. But before I do that, let me see. I thought I had some. I wanted to say real quick. Go ahead.
There's one comment from NG the Atheist. He says, I think he said, where's his comment? Oh yeah, I don't think Sony will sign any deal with ABK after the 3-year deal. No more. What? That
I doubt
might be
that.
the.
Nah,
Okay,
that's not
let me.
that's not gonna happen because they
All right.
need this, baby. They need that money. They're not gonna sit there.
Okay, so NG the atheist. I have to ask, what in God's name are you talking about?
Yeah, they need that.
They're
money.
doing all of this to block the deal because they don't want to lose COD, and you think if the deal doesn't go through, they're not going to work with. Okay. Anyway, please continue.
Oh no, I was just about to say we hit a high today of 145 people concurrently watching.
Ooh, that's because
Thank
Dirt
y'all.
is bringing the
You
people
know,
in.
bringing the
Dirt
heat,
brings
bringing the green bleeders, man.
Hey, the
Bringing
bots over
green
here, man.
bleeders.
Bringing the bots.
Let's go.
We appreciate y'all, man. We
And not like
appreciate y'all.
actual like computer bots.
Yeah, we're talking about the other kind of bots. Yeah. Please consider hitting that like button. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so. We're about what 70, 78 likes. Keep it up, man. We over 100 people.
I forgot to hit the like button. Let me hit the like button. I'm sorry,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you very much. We see Ty Talks is in here. Slow mo backslap, of course. A slanderous as usual in the background. Last question for this, and then we'll call it right. Last question. By all accounts, it looks like, and throw the FTC in the bushes. They don't matter in this conversation. Yes, we will continue that. They will do what they will do. There'll be court cases, whatever. It looks like this may be done before E3 or right in time for E3 or maybe right after.
Which is what I've been saying this whole time.
It looks like it'll be done right there. Like, what does that look like coming this June? I'll go to you, Dirt. What does this look like? Because that'd be crazy, brother.
A lot of momentum.
You know?
And tears and soul.
Definitely.
Salty tears.
But you know, the thing is, when this deal was announced last year, remember, we saw a retailer in France like put up a sign saying, yo, choose your console carefully because Xbox just acquired Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yo.
When it's official, you remember that? Nah, so if it's official, when it's official, I should say, Xbox is going to have a lot of momentum because even casuals knew about Xbox buying Activision Blizzard. I tell a story on my podcast. My friend, my coworker, who's a longtime friend, I know for 20 years at this point. He's a casual. He's the guy that actually introduced me to Xbox because I was a PlayStation 2 guy. He called me when the deal, like maybe 3-4 days after the deal was announced last year. He's a super casual. This dude plays 2K and Call of Duty. That's the only thing he plays. He called me, was like, Dirt, is it true that Xbox bought Activision? No, actually, he didn't even say Activision. He said Call of Duty because that's all he knows, right? Is it true that Xbox bought Call of Duty? I was like, yes, it is true, bro. And I think if this deal closes before June E3, Xbox is going to have a lot of momentum. They're going to be able to show some new games. They're going to be able to announce, yo, we own Call of Duty, and this year's Call of Duty will be in Game Pass, if it can be. I don't know about Sony's contract. I just feel Xbox this year is time for Xbox to gain some momentum. You know, PlayStation is still dominant. The PS5 is still selling incredible. And I think this year on the software side is light for PlayStation, with the exception of Spider-Man 2, first party. This year on Xbox side is strong, even though 2022 was light. So I think this is the year for Xbox to, you know, show that they're ready to compete, and that deal being closed by June or right around E3, that will be incredible for them. Perfect.
Absolutely. What about you, Everborn? What do you think? Do you think this thing closes before they hit the E3 stage? And if they do, how slanderous will this whole situation get, whether it be in the Twitter streets or where?
Be a gluttonous amount of pulling out of hair and gnashing of teeth
and clutching of pearls.
Lava splashing down on people.
Lava.
People will tear off their clothes and run naked in the streets.
Wow.
Crying that the world is over and the sky has torn apart. And I'm here for every piece of it. If the deal, I need you to understand this, right? If the deal closes and then they go and release their Minecraft game, then they release their
Oh no. Damn.
and they go and release their Redfall game, and then they released Diablo day one in the Game Pass, and then they released
We broke the show, ladies and gentlemen. Broke the show.
Starfield into Game Pass. Like I don't even think I'm gonna comment on anything.
Oh, you
I'm
not
just
gonna
gonna
comment?
be watching. No. You won't need to. This is the thing.
Watch people fall apart.
I'm just gonna put that Agatha from WandaVision, the wink, under every tweet with people crying, right?
Boy. Yo, but real quick, Dirk, do they sell those things like with the PlayStation logo on the top and everything? Like they sell that?
No,
like,
you know what I did? Because I don't know if you've seen my show. I have this character called Reginald.
Reggie.
And
yeah,
he's
I know
a
Reggie.
crying PlayStation fan baby. But I saw the crying baby on Amazon, and I said, man, I just got to get a PlayStation sticker with a camera. So I just got a PlayStation sticker and put it.
I thought it was built up. Like, damn.
No, I just got a PlayStation sticker and just gotta put it on his forehead of the crying baby. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Everborn. Continue.
I was having fun. Me having a little fun.
So this is the thing, right? I just think the momentum of the deal closing would even drown out some of Sony's bigger releases this year.
Yeah, true.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because think about the news around it. We just saw a feedback loop of a marketing psyop that I call it for Hogwarts. Now imagine the people crying Monopoly and big tech company and Microsoft owns everything, and then the people going back to fight them, and then CNN talking about it, and then everybody else, and then everyone's gonna hear is Xbox and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And
great
Xbox
point, bro.
and Call of Duty. And that's all gonna be in their head when they walk in the store. And the way marketing works, you have to hear a thing like 3 or 4 times before you actually hear or see a thing of 3 or 4 times before you actually go and move on it. So now when people are walking into the store and they hear, wait, Call of Duty is Xbox is Call of Duty, and then Game Pass,
and now you see why Sony is fighting so hard.
Wait a minute, they just talked about this on CNN and MSNBC.
Great point, bro.
And Fox News. And then Adam Cordova. He almost jumped out of a window. He couldn't take it.
Hold on. Let me catch up with a couple super chats real quick. We have Windass9079 in the chat here. Appreciate you being here, sir, with a $5 super chat saying, I'm late, but is that the Dark Lord? The Ray Traced OG?
Oh my God.
Guess you never know what you're gonna need some Vaseline. Brother, we will take no Dark Lord slander, huh? Chocolate Brothers Unite. Stop that BS.
Chocolate Brothers Unite. Shout out to Wendy's, man. He making fun of me. But
I know he is.
Those the homies, man. I know it's all out of love, guys. You POSs.
We got Pixelbit, the OG, Pixelbit G in here saying, I just want to see tears from the pro Sony media. Oh boy. It will be glorious. But yes, I see Reggie. I see people out here getting messy. Reggie broke our show, sir. Reggie broke our show. Mr. Pixelbit G in here with hashtag Xbox Got Your Games. It is getting messy in here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, Infinite Umbra's in here. Oh, we got Ham Solo in here. Oh, the fan is pulling up. We appreciate y'all for being here.
Hargeet is in the chat too.
Hargeet, what's up? Hey, man, shout out to Hargeet, man. Hargeet, last week on Gas Show, he said, hey, I'm not that impressed with that God of War selling 11 million. Hey, shout out to Hargeet.
He was on his back and people were pushing him, but he was standing on his square, and I appreciate you,
shout
sir.
out to Hargeet.
He was appreciated. He's in here with a $2 super chat saying that mask is hilarious, Dirk. I think we all agree on that, sir. I think maybe just like that Charge Them More shirt, we might need to start, mass producing some of them, because I have a feeling people going to need that soon to come. But okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
We seem to be rounding the bottom of this show. It looks like
you never went over the poll results, right?
I did go over the poll results. Oh, you mean the poll results of Hogwarts?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize. You're absolutely right. I will end that poll right now, and we have. Is that why you asked?
I didn't win. I'm disappointed in the chat, man.
So the poll results. The poll was, "Will you buy Hogwarts?" And 35% of our audience said nope, they will not be buying Hogwarts. 28% said yeah, they'll give it a shot. 25% says they're already playing it, and 10% say Everborn's a hater.
I think I'm gonna buy it today, bro. I think I'm gonna give it a try.
There you go.
They got you.
There you
They
go.
got me. It looks
It's
good though. When
just-
I'm seeing footage of it, hey, Everborn, when I'm seeing
Our
footage of it,
industrial complex got to you too.
it looks pretty good. Though. I'm like, it looks,
Damn it.
looks good.
You
man.
know, the trusted voices even say it's good. So I kind of defer, right?
I'll be checking
Even
it
though
out,
the
man.
psyops is still the psyops, I agree with you, Everborn. Trusted voices say it's good, and I've played it, and I tell you, if it wasn't for all these other games that are taking our life, it is really good, man. I mean, you know, shout out to the man Ham
check it out,
Solo.
man.
He said it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
I just
You know?
need a sword. That's all I'm asking for.
But you know what? You're not
Better use
alone,
those
though.
sticks.
You're not alone. You know, we do have what was this? Let's say Pop Nop 2, saying he's waiting till it reaches 20 euros or 20 pounds, I should say. So there you go. You know, not everybody's on there with you. Not everybody. And of course, before we go, we have Suicide Kings in here with a $2 super chat saying, "Dirt, trigger Everborn, this Sonic, slander time."
Hey, Suicide King, you know I'm a Sega guy, bro.
Well,
diss
you know,
Sonic 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. The best Christmas of my life.
Dirt,
Suicide Kings tried it,
Dirt,
but
see,
it didn't work.
I think what you don't, maybe you're not aware of this. Dirt, see, we talk a lot about Sonic on this show, right? Because Everborn is a lover of Sonic, and believe it or not, there's more Sonic played in my household than almost anything between my kids and all. We are Sonic people. It is what it is, right? But myself and Everborn got into a nice little wager, right? Saying that by the end of 2022, right? By the end of 2022, Sonic Frontiers would outsell God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, come on.
You see,
Everborn,
look at
ain't
his
say that,
face.
did you?
Look at the
Wait a
face.
minute.
Look at
Wait a
the
minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I love Sonic just as much as the
wait,
next man, but
wait.
outside God of War, come on.
Wait
Everborn.
a damn minute.
So,
Okay.
well, hold on. I would let Everborn reply. So,
I would have took that bet.
we were going back and forth. First, it was Christmas, my birthday. It didn't work out. It was the 31st. Okay. And then God of War released their numbers. And I was like, Everborn, are you going to bow out? You can bow out. Because, look, he wasn't the only one. Shout out to Mr. Boomstick XL. He went as far as saying 2-1, which was ridiculous.
Hold on, wait. Boomstick said Sonic was going to outsell God of War?
2-1. Ridiculous. But when he saw where the trajectory was heading, he bowed out like a gentleman, and we ain't going to clown him for it. It's all good. He bowed out. EverbornSaga, I gave him chance after chance, and Mr. Slow-Mo Backslappers in the chat, and all these chatters are here. I gave him many a chance to bow out. He chose not to. And now we have the Sonic numbers as well.
Yeah, but let's talk about why though.
No. Let's not do that because look,
leaving out the fact that Sony cooked the books by putting it in the bundle.
Just like Sonic released it at $60 and then went to $30 like a day later.
It's getting messy.
Right?
It's getting messy.
Sonic went to $30 a day later because they also saw that the price they were asking for wasn't gonna get to move the needle. So Sonic moved it quick.
And God of War went for free with the PlayStation.
Let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are looking for the retribution, for those of you who are looking for the reckoning, the day will come, sir. It's not today. It's not tomorrow. We will have a reckoning for this
special show like you did for the Steam Deck, just to go over this thing. That's fine. That's fine, but you know, we know what really happened. The that Sony, because they knew that Sonic was gaining on them, and they couldn't stand on their square. They had to go bundle it in the box because they wasn't confident they could beat Sonic. That's what happened.
You know what? I think, and I will get to the super chat, but I will say, Ham Solo, the man out here speaking truths that no one wants to hear. He said, "Hold his L, bro. Move on."
I respect it. Hey, I respect it, bro. Stand on how you feel. I respect it.
Damn right.
I respect it.
Damn right.
We'll
and
close
did you
this.
know Sonic overall, right? Sold
Lifetime
6
sales.
million and some change for the whole year, just for other games that was out. And did you know that Sonic as a franchise has sold over 150 million copies in the 30
All
years.
the games combined.
But do you know that none of that was a basis for our bet?
And God of War will never sell as many copies as Sonic.
And I will wholeheartedly 100,000% agree with you. But again, none of that was the basis of our bet, sir. So I will leave it at that.
That's fine. But again,
and I will say, Gerald Mack rounding us out at the bottom of this episode with a $5 super chat saying, I really wish you guys would stop promoting this game. I have no knowledge of Harry Potter. Damn it. You know what?
Me either, but I'm still get it.
You know what? You should try it because it has nothing to do with Harry Potter. It's almost like, to me, it's Rogue One. They left the Skywalkers behind and they're continuing with the world. And
so
by and large, it works.
Everybody dies.
Stop it.
He dies.
You know, but by and large, it works. But you know what? We will call it because we are close. We're close. We're 2.5 in. We left it on the field. I suspect. Oh, there's more coming. As long as y'all keep dropping it, I will keep responding and answering to it. We once again have Stage Black with another super chat, $2 super chat, saying, "How many Sonic games have come out, Everborn?" ? With a smile.
That's neither here nor there. That wasn't the question, sir.
That was also not the bet, but that's okay.
Oh, y'all funny, man.
I just stated the fact. We getting in all of these minutia and details.
You're the one who bringing the minutia and details, talking about how well it has sold. What did I say when this bet started? I do not disagree with you. It is on every platform. It's got a great movie, another great movie coming out.
And
it's got a TV show.
You know what?
All the while, it's on multiple platforms, so it has the potential to win.
If Sega still had a console to bundle it with, maybe we wouldn't be having this situation. But God of War happened to come from a parent company that could bundle it with a thing. But whatever, it is what it is.
See, this is like listening to a PlayStation fanboy talking about how Microsoft should be or Xbox should be flogged because that one time they said they were going to release that one game or they were going to do that VR that time. It didn't happen.
Oh my God, they still bringing that up.
They still bringing that up.
Remember Phil said VR.
Remember when he said he done said no? Nah, bro, that has nothing to do with what's going on. That has nothing to do with what's going on right now, player. Right now, it was between the day they're released to the end of 2022. That was the bet.
You know what I think should happen?
Hashtag
I think Microsoft should let go of COD to pass the deal and then buy Sega.
Oh, of course.
And then Sonic Frontiers 2 could be bundled in with the box and we could have this conversation again.
But you do realize
that's what I would like to see happen.
Even by that metric, they would lose because PlayStation's outselling Microsoft console-wise. So it would still not necessarily work for you. It would not work in your favor, sir. But okay. Enough of this. We had to get a little of this out the way. There's more to come, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh,
Slow-mo says Sega couldn't get Sonic bundled with the Ouya.
Oh, Lord. Stop it. Anyway, we have 116 people still in this chat. See, Suicide Kings, mission accomplished. See, triggered them. Absolutely. We have so many people in this chat. We appreciate you for continuing to rock with us, for being here. Man, this was such an awesome show with so much smoke, and I'm sure that Reggie clip will end up on the streets, on them Twitter streets soon enough.
Reggie, man, that's the man.
Dirk Griggity, we appreciate you being here, man. Tell the people where they can keep up with you, where they too can bleed green with you and TTS.
Absolutely, man. Check out my channel. I actually want to do some content. I haven't been able to do any videos this week. Check out my channel. I don't know. Like, can I put it in the chat, or do you have it?
Oh, brother, all of the stuff will be in the description. Cool, I'll make sure I put your Twitter and your channel, the whole nine.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun, guys. You guys are awesome. Love what you're doing over here. Listen, check out my channel. I'm a pro Xbox channel. We talk a lot of trash. My podcast is Monday evenings, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called We Bleed Green, WBZ Xbox Podcast. We have a lot of fun over there. We talk gaming. We talk about PlayStation fanboys. We talk about Xbox. We talk about everything over there. It's a good time. I'm also on my boy Sean 786 podcast on Fridays. It's usually 1 p.m. Eastern Time, called TTS Xbox Podcast. check that out. But yeah, thanks for the invite, man. It was a lot of fun, you guys. I appreciate it. Oh, one more thing. If there's any PlayStation fanboys in this chat, you probably won't like my channel.
Okay.
Just giving you a heads up.
Nah, brother, it was great having you here. We hopefully will have you back soon. We appreciate you flow with the energy of the show, man. We appreciate the fact that we were able to keep it PG but still TTS.
Man, I can definitely do that easily.
You should TM that. TTS, it's a beautiful thing, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
EverbornSaga, you out here making moves, life moves on the Twitch streets, doing you, trying to upstage me with your damn camera. I'm gonna change that soon enough. Don't worry about it. Tell the people where they can find you. When this whole thing goes down, when the deal is done, tell us how ridiculous you will be on them damn Twitter streets. What can people expect from you from this week?
Listen, the only place I want, you can find me everywhere at EverbornSaga. I say this all the time: Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. But I want you to go to EverbornSaga.com, and I want you to click on any one of the books, and then scroll to the bottom, and you will see we have a very big special going on right now that allows you to get all the books we've ever produced. For right there, only $49, right? So you can get all 6 chapters. That's over 300 pages of art and story, and they all come signed and all of that. Check it out, because we have a lot of projects that we're getting ready to release this year, and I wanted everybody to get caught up. So we sold out in like 2 days when we did this the first time, and then we did another bulk order, and those are still around. So this won't last forever, but check it out now, and you can see everything we're doing. If you are into fantasy, if you're into Lord of the Rings, if you're into anime, we try to tell what we call Lord of the Rings means X-Men. That's basically the story. And like I said, if you're into anime, if you're into manga, if you're into Western fantasy, check it out. You will not be disappointed, and the people who have checked it out can vouch. So just go to the website. I guarantee what you see, they will sell you on it.
And now you notice why he likes the TTS when it comes to the Harry Potter franchise. He feels he can.
Oh, it's competition. It's competition, baby.
He feels he can do better, and I by and large agree. If you've read the comics, my kids love it. You should definitely check it out. By the way, we should hear more about the game soon enough, because I'm still waiting, brother. I'm still waiting.
It's coming, man. We just got to get the animation going. Man.
See. I commended you one too many times about your cam, and now it wants to zoom you out.
I know, not because I got it on this auto thing.
No worries,
it'll fix itself.
Not a problem. But again, even EverbornSaga's channel, I'll make sure all that information in the show notes down there. Harry Potter says absolutely. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is always a great show. Highlight of the weekend for me. I love putting this stuff together. Love getting to talk to great people in the community. Of course, next week we'll be back with more ridiculous slanderousness. We will be talking. Hopefully, we'll find some other wonderful individuals who want to TTS. I'm not gonna steal that from you, Dirk. But every time I use it, I will make sure I give credit, because that is a very good way of saying what I want to say without getting demonetized. That's a beautiful thing.
See, I say TTT. Talk that talk.
Yeah,
that's the PG version.
Yeah, true. We need to give credit where it's due, and that one's a beautiful one. I appreciate that. No, but thank you guys so much for being here. Always so much fun. Still over 121 people in the chat. There's still a lot of gaming talk going around. I'm sure by now that the folks at Living Split Screen are still going hot and heavy. So go ahead and
they going on.
Check them out. Let them know we sent you. We appreciate everybody being here. And yeah, I guess we will see y'all on them Twitter streets, and we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend,
y'all. Peace out.